Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
If you like a lot of wrestling on your YouTube, join our cult. Hello and welcome to another fun-filled, stupid edition of the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. Joined as always by Matthew, his dog Walls, and the one-man Super League himself, Ross Twiddell. How you doing, pal?
How very dare you? What do you think I am? Some sort of money-grabbing corporate devil?
Yeah. I thought I'd get some reference to it because it's pretty much been more interesting than the wrestling this week, and it may be forgotten about by the time the next podcast comes along.
Complete roller coaster, isn't it? Was it Sunday night when it got released the first time, and then sort of 2 days later it all gone away, kind of, with Chelsea and, well, the 6 British teams getting pulled out? Wrestling podcast, though. So, how would we compare this? What wrestling angle compares to the European Super League? I was trying to think about this the other day. Is it just like the main event mafia? Something like that?
Jarrett, Abyss, and Jeff Hardy getting together as a team. There, here, and there was misspelled.
It's sort of comparable to WWE signing all the UK talent to exclusive contracts. In a way. A little bit. But I don't know.
Yeah, but in football, everyone went, no, this is a horrible idea, let's reject it. And they went, you know what, you're right. In wrestling, they went, come on. They opened the door and everything. And as always, making up the ensemble, Hook's personal trainer himself, Jack the Jobber. How you doing, pal?
I've got a little bit of a hangover this morning, Matthew. Whoa.
My God.
Right, so obviously now we can sit outside pubs again. And I went last night, and unfortunately I was sat near... It was like for people who don't know, there's 2 universities in Newcastle, so there's quite a lot of students floating about. And it was someone's birthday, and he had all of his mates. It wasn't a group of 6. There were several groups of 6 around a few tables, and they were very. I'm not trying to be an old fart or anything, but they were very loud and stuff. But the most curious thing, there seems to be a new fashion trend because no less than 3 of the lads were wearing button-up like shirts with football shorts. And I was like, there's no way all 3 of them can have just come from training or whatever. And put on a button-up shirt as well. Unless it was some kind of in-joke, but a lot of the lads were dressed normally, so I got no idea what that one's about. Very strange.
Have you ever been out on a get-together with people for a do or anything, and there's been a fashion thing?
Yeah. When I was a student, yeah.
Cool, what was yours?
There was we used to go out and pretend to be a sports team from a different college in the town so that we wouldn't get in trouble if anything went wrong. So we'd chant about being from the Cuthbert's College cricket team and stuff, and then then we went to Cuthbert's on the bar crawl, and they were like, "Are you on the cricket team?" Yeah, that lad's on the cricket team. And I remember one of my mates going, "Yeah, we're the B team. We're not very good." And he was like, "Ah, Sam." So it was very stupid. It was really pathetic behaviour.
That's some good logic, though, impersonating a different team.
We were Trev's Lawn Tennis, and Van Milde Orchestra.
La-di-da.
I know.
What about yourself, Ross?
No, not much. We had the occasional fancy dress night out. Went out as a Backstreet Boy one night. Went to Primark and got all white from head to toe. Not like all right, kind of people watch Adam streams. It's all white clothing from head to toe. But apart from that, I used to just rock a Fred Perry polo, and that would be it because, indie music and terrace wear and whatnot over here in the UK. And then you learn a few years later that Proud Boys are a thing, and you can't wear Fred Perry anymore. So that was a fun experience.
Yeah, my mate Andy Stagg do. He encouraged everyone to wear dressing gowns. So I went out in my suit with my Star Wars dressing gown on, and we all showed up, all 8 of us, and everyone's like, what the hell are they doing? And then they'd have a sip and go, it's a good idea, that. They look pretty all right. Which it was for the golf. And then we went to Rise. I think I lost 2 stone that night. Good
I was
God.
about to say, did you get in? But they'll let you in with dressing gowns on.
Yeah, no, you're looking appropriate for Rise. Only the finest look... Only the proudest of boys come here.
One week I didn't get into Rise because I didn't have student ID. And I was like, there's 40-year-old blokes in Rise. like, what's going on? I think
Did
they
you point the bouncer as you said that?
No, but I think what happened was he was just like, they didn't have the normal door staff on that week, and they brought in new ones who assumed it was a student night and just weren't. And there was a huge queue outside. It was chaos. It's never happened since.
That's weird. You know what's weirder? The fact that we're not talking about wrestling. In the news this week, Mickie James reveals WWE sent her care package in a garbage bag. On Thursday, James took to social media to reveal that she received a care package of sorts from WWE inside of a big old bin bag. A piece of green tape bearing her first name was affixed to the side of it, so he knew it was hers, I guess. Maria Kanellis claimed the same thing happened to her upon her release in 2020, and Gail Kim added the procedure has apparently been going on even before she first joined WWE. I never heard of this before. But then, early this morning or late last night, doesn't matter, it's alleged WWE has fired talent relations director Mark Carano, who's apparently the person responsible for bin bag fever. So,
don't be a petty bastard on these kind of things, Matthew, but I watched Total Diva Season 1, and there was a certain he used to revel in having to fire people, did Mark Carano. And I don't know if this was just a gimmick for the show, because if it is just a gimmick for the show, what a weird stance when that's your real-life job to take on that kind of thing. But he had a horrible air about him when he would fire or let people go from the performance center and whatnot. And yes, I loved it when I saw that this morning. I loved it.
Do you think was he? Is this because of this? Because I was quite confused. Because they obviously haven't they brought back in John Laurinaitis recently?
Triple H was like, I had no idea this was going on. Upon learning about this, we've let go of the guy who was responsible for it. So yeah, I don't know what role he was having. He must have been demoted, obviously, because John Laurinaitis was making the calls for the releases last week. That's another one, by the way. Stephanie McMahon saying the new slogan for WWE is now forever together.
What?
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
is that the name of the greatest hits album?
Yeah, it's the lyrics to Blink-182's Always. Matthew will... Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. You know, I'm trying to imagine his voice.
No, wait. No, First Date. I was thinking First Date.
Forever.
Let's make this last forever. I was thinking the First Date. I got the wrong Blink song. Sorry.
I miss you. All right.
Is that Geordie Blink? I miss you.
Didn't waste your time on me, Bonnie.
Oh, God.
It'll be with Johnny's song, My Love for You Can Fit in a Bin Bag. So, yeah. No, good news, John Laurinaitis is back in, so we won't see any of these poo house re-release. Oh, no, wait, never mind.
Well, yeah.
Anyway. Daniel Bryan shocked many people with his statements regarding the WrestleMania 37 main event and how he felt during it. Quote, it was really bizarre. Just really, really bizarre. I mean, it's been 9 days now since it happened, and it's taken me time to fully process what the experience was like because it wasn't like a normal thing. It was really weird. I felt very out of body in it. It was so weird. said weird a lot. When I'm wrestling, I feel everything, and I feel like I'm really enjoying it. This was weird. It was almost like I felt detached. And it was like I was out there, and it was so strange, in fact, that before the match started, I got this really weird feeling, and I was like, oh no. Is this what it's like before you die? Am I going to die? And I was like, well, okay. If that happens, that happens. But it was just a really bizarre feeling. I don't know why or how that happened. It was unlike pretty much anything I've ever felt while wrestling before. He then added, my contract's actually up relatively soon. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do in my life. I'm going to be 40 soon. I mean, it's nice and refreshing in a way to hear be someone so honest and not speaking in WWE speak. But then that stuff comes out their mouth and you're like, oh, Brian, you all right, mate?
I was going to say, when was this interview done? Was it on a certain day that took place this week? Because it sounds very much like that kind of talk, if you know what I'm saying.
Good one.
But
I just have a lot of plant shirts.
Imagine that, just throwing those in a big burner and just going, and then...
What are you doing, Brian? I'm just nibbling on one of my shirts.
It's out the back, in the back garden, got a barbecue on, but all his shirts just going, inhaling them all. What am I doing here this morning? Anyway, it was weird during that main event, I thought, because it was clear to me that the people inside that arena had not been watching SmackDown. Because if you go back and watch it, Daniel Bryan was getting booed. And if you're watching SmackDown in the build at WrestleMania, there's no way you could be booing Daniel Bryan unless you're very partisan, go on to Florida for Roman Reigns and all that.
Yeah. I wanted D. Bry to win.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the awkward thing, isn't it? As a storyline, that was perfect. With the Brian going, hey, hang on, you did me over at the Elimination Chamber, and then Edge did me over. I deserve this shot. And then Edge going, oh, yeah. But you forget that one thing. WrestleMania is aimed towards the normal people. You know, those horrible, horrible, disgusting normal people. Those Mickey James care packages people who come along and go, I remember Edge, and completely ruin everything. And it also reminds me of something related to this week as well. Kenny Dykstra from the Spirit Squad announced his retirement because he says, I'm at the peak of my career, but I'm going to call it quits because I'm actually doing really well stock-wise. And fair play to him. But this situation reminded me, go away, bring it all together. The Spirit Squad were booked for Dub X Dub Tag League one year. And everyone went, what? Or Vas? And why a Spirit Squad? And the guy, people who run Dub X Dub were very honest about it. He goes, look, we're sick of people, but the fans booing the tag teams. Cheering the tag team's supposed to be booing. So we're bringing in a tag team that no one's going to cheer. And the Spirit Squad did all the Spirit Squad stuff, hammed it up, and the crowd were like, das boo! And
Das boo.
Sometimes you need that.
Is that film about the submarine?
Das boo, das boo. Yeah, the Spirit Squad in a submarine, right?
I thought you were going to say they were just sort of fed to Walter one by one, and he just chopped them down as they ran at him, and everyone was buzzing about that. They might well have been.
Wrestling got discussed in the House of Commons.
By two people.
Yeah, it was a sellout. God. It's like the Tidal wrestling shows they did in 2014. I hope, right, they showed a little bit of it on Twitter and uploaded it, and it was a guy, going, oh, pro wrestling's great, innit? Undertaker, SummerSlam, Bulldog, Wembley, and all this, and you're like, all right. And I hope that there was a lot more to follow, because the entire reason for this isn't to do with
that wasn't
wrestling.
the point. Yeah, not at all.
Remember it was on ITV. Good time. Mick McManus. It was like, we have some proper discussion here. That's one of the issues of Twitter. Sometimes that moment's captured in time and makes you think that that's all the guy talked about. But yeah, at least it is getting discussed properly, even if no one showed up to it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the same with a lot of important issues in politics, isn't it? A lot of politicians only show up to ones that further their agenda or are big, big talking points on a national scale. So that hopefully good stuff gets done and legislation gets put through and everything. But it was a little bit disappointing to see. But I don't know what we really expected.
Yeah. But at the very least, with the guy being such a big fan, he's like, oh, I'll show up.
Yeah.
I'll be there. With his little WF, like Austin 316 knockoff shirt and everything.
Mr. Speaker, what do you think of the Roman Reigns booking on SmackDown these days? Do you imagine if he just broke out into that?
Mr. Speaker's like, it doesn't matter what you think.
And the guy's like, oh, that's very good, yeah.
I've got some bad.
No.
Oh, dear.
And then the speaker goes, excuse me, this is supposed to be a very serious hearing. Triple H comments, the WWE NXT has shifted away from the imaginary war narrative. Quote, the promotional opportunity for us is much better for a Tuesday, and also then not having to have a narrative where it's just constantly about an imaginary war or this imaginary battle. People could say what they want, but the truth of the matter is you compete against everything.
They started it.
Sense, apparently.
They started.
It's literally the teenage bully, innit? Just starting something and going, wait, I didn't even want to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It turns out that those Jeep tank things in 98, they can reverse as well. And I think the biggest news this week, the revelation. Do you remember TNA Bound for Glory 4? Sting versus Samoa Joe?
Okay.
Because if you do remember it, you'll remember it for one spot in particular. A spot where Samoa Joe went to the very top of the bleachers, past the crowd, Sting down with the unwashed masses, and Samoa Joe doing an insane, sorry, way to describe it, back sent on diving drop kick off the bleachers, down the steps, managing to kind of hit Sting fleetingly, and then crotching himself on a bit of the post.
And didn't he also land on steps as well?
There was no way of landing nicely there, but he seemed to do everything to make it as painful as possible for himself. But so many people have said that this is the thing that, like, hindered Samoa Joe's career from then on and the injuries he sustained, Samoa Joe finally took to Twitter, Geishka Unleashed, to finally clear it up. Nope, I in fact didn't miss a day of work. I've refrained commenting on this because I've enjoyed how the legend grew over the years, and it has been somewhat of a social experiment for me, watching it manifest as such absolute truth. Person did his homework, myth busted. Also, it was never supposed to be what it was in the chaos of the crowd. Sting was moved down the steps, and what was supposed to be a cool, slightly dangerous flying forearm had to be audibled into that mid-air, much to my surprise. The social experiment started when wrestlers I would meet would bring it up to me as a fact, some even saying, man, that changed your style up, huh? Which I would agree with, then internally shake my head at how easily the rumour became fact. In fact, in this media environment, I try to debunk things about me because in the battle of truth versus narrative, narrative will always find a way to justify why truth is wrong. Also, it makes it easier for me to suss out who is full of it. Just to clarify, if you were a colleague who asked me about it, I told the truth, even some fans I met at autograph signings, but if you stated it to me as fact, I let you believe what you want. Mainly because you didn't have the common courtesy to even see if it was true.
Imagine being as blatantly, hard as Samoa Joe and not having to care about what anyone thinks. Imagine that. Imagine being Samoa Joe. Outrageous.
I cannot, Jack.
No.
Cannot.
No. Do you remember that promo he did on Heyman when he spoke all quietly? Oh, I want him to do more stuff, even if it's not wrestling. Even if he's just, commentating or whatever. Ah, dear me.
Yeah. That was the news.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame!
Now it's for everyone's favourite segment.
Oh my god.
I'll do it again.
No.
The fame segment where... well, it's usually my favourite segment, but I'm not sure this week. In condescending order from last week, Devil Morocco, a.k.a. the guy who is going to have a child soon because he listened to this podcast, and that was enough to get him in the mood. 18%?
Shocking.
Now, I need to put something forward to the jury here because I obviously the one who lists the things on Patreon for the Hall of Fame and whatnot. And I saw a comment, I haven't got it in front of me, so I apologise for forgetting your name. I think it was Jacob somebody, I might be wrong there, saying I was in the wrong for just listing it as Devil Morocco because people might not understand who it is. And I was thinking, first of all, this is the thing that Matthew wanted to be listed as the thing on the Patreon. And second of all, is the Hall of Fame not voted on by people who listen to this?
Well, I'm thinking, this made me think, do people who haven't listened to the podcast that week just see it and just vote for someone anyway?
Oh, that's weird. I never thought about people just going on Patreon and goes, let's see what we've got.
Feedback appreciated from all corners because I just took it for granted that people listen to the podcast and then went on to Patreon.
This is controversial. This is like Eurovision voting.
Yes. Yeah, we all voted strategically to support Denmark.
Yeah.
Right, okay, well, shocker. Hey, Devil Morocco, you're in my Hall of Fame if nothing else. 18%. Sasha Banks, 29%. Fair enough. Adam's horse in Red Dead Redemption 2, 53%.
It deserves it. It's taken a lot of punishment, that horse.
Democracy just doesn't work. Fantastic. Adam's horse in Red Dead Redemption 2, take a bow. Was that you, Jack?
It was.
Yeah,
it was, yeah. So now I've got to think of one. Oh, God. I wasn't expecting to win, quite honestly. Devil Morocco deserves
Look at
it.
this guy here, Matthew, flexing.
No.
Live on the podcast.
I'm not.
Yeah, it was me who did that one. Wait a minute.
No.
The yawn and the stretch and everything.
He has done the Daniel Bryan on the road to WrestleMania. Here, he's forced his way into. He's made a 2-way flex, a 3-way flex.
You're right, Ross. When Jack finally gets the strength to say his pick, we should make like the crowd at WrestleMania and boo him. Go on, Jack. What was your pick?
No, really, I'm under a lot of pressure now. Because I was going to go for another Twitch-based one. And it's not the most interesting to those who don't watch mine and Owen streams. But we did win the league this week. So I'm going to have to go for the mighty Cultaholic FC. A fictional football team who's touched so many hearts over the past few months.
Boo! Get out! Boo!
There's not much more to it than that. We are carrying on, though, into next season. Don't worry about that, everyone. On Wednesdays at 6 p.m. British time.
Oh. You joining the boycott, or?
Oh, yeah, we never joined the Super League. None of that.
Might have to at the minute. Everyone else has left.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. I'm happy for you winning the league.
Cheers.
You were second place, Ross. You can go.
I'm going to go strategically for Adam Pachiti's haircut and beard trim from this week because I flicked on his Twitch stream. And for the first time in knowing that man for, how long's it been? 6 years, nearly? I thought, wow.
It's the most backhanded of compliments.
It's weird. I don't know if it's just because obviously we've not been able to have a haircut over here in the UK since, well, yeah, mine last one was December the 9th. So I guess it was sort of start of January maybe, since we've been able to have one. And people just getting their haircuts these days. It's just like, oh, hey, oh, never knew your head was quite so nice. Mine's booked in for Sunday, although I doubt it'll have the same effect. But I'm going to go for Adam Pachiti's haircut and beard trim.
He was looking very sharp. Very tall at the front this time. The quiff's got a lot of height on it.
It was a full-on like wave, wasn't it? Like a pristine Sydney Harbour Bay wave.
You don't get... That's what he asked for, I think. You don't get that in the Northeast. That's a southern thing, that. Such precision on the quiff. I feel like that's a slick southern, I think.
Are you insinuating he's gone down south just for a haircut?
No. No, I'm not. But that would be a video and a half, actually. Yeah. You should do that.
It didn't reverse. He went from Barnard Castle to London. Well, that's definitely going to win. So, I will stick with my original plan. And it's going to be Samoa Joe's career-ending injury he sustained wrestling Sting at Bound for... Did you know this, by the way, that Samoa Joe, he did this dive one time, and that completely changed his career.
You know, it's fantastic. I'm learning more and more that people skip segments on the podcast. So anyone who's skipping the news segment,
there you go, playing a bit with that. Yes, Samoa Joe, that is the exact reason for that. He cracked every bone in his body. He landed 30 feet for a pay-per-view that was ordered by 30 people. As he went to the back, he goes, lads, if we this many, the more people we get, the more I'll dive. And he hit Sting. And it is insane, though, the dive itself. God. I'm surprised you guys, it's not, stuck in your memory like it is mine, but...
I've seen GIFs. I've seen the GIF.
Oh, okay, you have seen it. Yeah. Right. So, yeah, it's worth celebrating because Samoa Joe generally hasn't done many crazy dives in his time, being a large Samoan gentleman. I was always surprised when we do the dive through the ropes, but the fact that he went, you know what? Let's do this. Let's show off how great I am, how hard I am, by doing a running back sent-on dropkick.
And just
down the bleachers, onto the steps.
Just to avoid controversy, Matthew, what would you like this listed as on the Patreon?
Oh.
I've got written down here, Samoa Joe's injury. Or was it Bound for Glory?
That's going to be bad, that. If you put Samoa Joe's injury, people go, Matthew, you're horrible. Samoa Joe's crazy dive.
Crazy dive.
Yes. If you manage to type out crazy like that, that's
crazy.
Great. Crazy dive.
Yeah?
Because one, I thought it'd be funny, just to show how people could completely change the narrative of things like that. Samoa Joe's right. That social experiment Samoa Joe was talking about. We're all part of it. And two, because not a lot of stuff's happened this week, so...
That makes sense. I mean, there's a clear winner this week, though, unfortunately.
This is what... Yeah. You ever play Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah.
You get around where you go, I'm not winning, I'm not beating this. So you just use some of your NAF ones to get some new cards. This is one of those. And the lovely picks for you this week, if you listen to this podcast, or you don't, apparently, which is funny to me, then we have your team...
Cultaholic FC.
Cultaholic FC winning the...
what was it? The northern... the one below the conference. Conference North.
Winning the Conference North.
Or the Vanarama National League North, or whatever it's called now.
Yes. Good. Cultaholic FC winning the things.
Mm-hmm.
Pachiti's new haircut.
And beard trim.
Beg your pardon. One would miss that out. I mean, the haircut alone would have won it. You could have saved that and done the beard cut for next week and one as well. And then Samoa Joe's crazy dive at Bound for Glory 4. That's it. Proper.
Looking for a tailbone.
He watched it once and then he went, I want to watch that back again. Can I get a rewind? And
Just imagine Samoa Joe with a wee bag now. Oh, Granny, let's go for a wee together.
Come on,
what do after
Kaz.
that?
Kazarian? Kaz.
Nice. Yeah. Oh. Cooking on gas now at the very end of the Hall of Fame segment. Those 3 picks and those 3 picks alone are yours to select upon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic.
This is This Week in the Wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
I like this. Someone's written down the notes. It says, This Week in Roll-Ups.
Well, there was a few.
There was a few, yes. Start off with SmackDown, aka The Good One. Roman, Heyman, and Jey Uso open the show. Roman and Heyman talk about how brilliant Roman is for winning at WrestleMania. Cesaro comes out with a mic, but they just ignore him and walk off.
It was good. That's good, that. I like it.
You got to earn to be acknowledged from the head of the table, lads. I mean, like, come on, what do you expect?
Absolutely. And backstage, Cesaro asks Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce for a match against Roman, non-title if need be. Heyman is later interviewed and calls Cesaro nothing but a joke. He used to be part of
He was a
Team Heyman.
A bit more than that. He called him a Neanderthal, a knuckle dragger. What else was there? There was all kinds of stuff. It was. But it all makes sense, though, because, like, as we all know now, Paul Heyman just used Cesaro to keep the name of Brock Lesnar on TV after Brock Lesnar conquered the streak.
Oh, is that?
I felt like such a knobhead saying that, but there you go. That's what.
Now, is this? Are they scared of? Is this in kayfabe? Are they scared of Cesaro, or are they just arrogant?
They are arrogant
Okay.
because they don't believe that Cesaro is worthy of being acknowledged. That's what I took away from the walk away.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And he's never been at that level before, so it makes sense. Because then the fans are like, oh, go on, get him.
I feel like there was a disconnect at some point because maybe I missed a segment, but Cesaro wanted this match with Roman. Heyman called him that. And then, as we'll see in a little bit, the main event wasn't against Roman. But I don't know if that ever got explained.
That was the thought, because Roman doesn't do the matches on Fridays, does he? He just
Yeah,
has Jay do all his dirty work for him because he's a no good scoundrel.
It does make sense.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to do your dirty work no more. Sorry. Rey Mysterio beats Otis with a 619 and a crucifix pin.
Impressive bumperlicious from Otis, I tell thee. Oh,
On the finish?
aye.
Yeah. I like the new... Because Ray doesn't really bust that out, does he? Because I guess it's because he's such a bigger opponent. But also at the same time, what's happened to Otis? And how is he a mid-card heel? And what's going on? I know we say it a lot, but...
Chad Gable has turned around the fortunes of Otis. That is the narrative being pushed on SmackDown these days. Because before this heel turn in the Alpha Academy, Mr. Money in the Bank and WrestleMania 36 show stealer had no success at all, did he? Eh?
No.
They should have put him in a tag team before this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it would have worked wonders, wouldn't it? He had a sort of a straight guy to play off with his nonsense. Would have worked well.
Right. It writes itself.
I'm fuming. Rey Mysterio and Dominic sometimes are becoming like mini mid-card Triple H's who beat people when you want the other person to win, in my opinion. Just imagining a mini Triple H now running around.
Double H.
Yeah.
Ray comes out with a trowel rather than a shovel.
And a shoebox to put his opponent in rather than a coffin. Sami Zayn blames Kevin Owens for turning Logan Paul against him. He turned the Waynes against us and calls him out for a rematch. Owens accepts and wins after Sami takes a count-out loss. Owens drags Sami back to the ring and hits him with a stunner. Yep, I'm alright with this.
I wonder why it's carrying on.
Because WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, true. Do you think they're just going to have a rematch, maybe with a stip? A sexy little stip? What am I talking about?
Logan on a pole.
Oh. Oh.
Logan Paul. That's his name.
His brother knocked out Ben Askren.
That was fake, wasn't
Mate.
it, lads? Come on.
No.
Mate,
No,
I
it wasn't
mean,
fake.
boxing's always suspect. in specific places, but
I
usually
don't
getting
think-
entertainment value out of this. But I didn't watch it. I have no interest in watching it, of any of the polls doing boxing or anything like that. But I saw enough bloody stuff on Twitter. Ben Askren going, there we go.
Well, I don't think it was fake. I just think Askren didn't care or train. And
I think the knockout blow itself was real because you could see his head wobble when he made contact. But the fact that Askren just sort of walked straight into it, that's where my issue is.
Well, Askren's always had really bad boxing. He's all about the grappling and the wrestling. So that's why Jake Paul... It's a really bizarre thing that Jake Paul's constructed for himself. It's like if one person in the office played golf and none of the rest of us had played golf, and then he went around beating all of us at golf and bragged about it. He's beating people who are not boxers at all, whereas he's done some training. So I don't get why it's impressive.
Well said, Jack.
Oh, I don't know. Can anybody answer this in the comments?
No, but it's obviously, we know as much about boxing as we do about wrestling. So,
Yeah.
The thing was, it was a massive success,
Yeah.
a huge success. Triller have now bought Fight TV
What?
because of how successful it was. You have not heard about this?
No.
Because I believe the story, don't quote me on this, but they used Fight TV for some of the services, but then they did so much success, they went, why are we going through Fight TV? Or why can't we just take all the money ourselves?
Super League.
And promos backstage on people, weren't he, while they were slapping each other or something?
Wow.
I'm not going to lie, that's kind of interesting.
A fever dream, it looked like.
Yes.
It sounded like there was a few boxing matches and then a lot of time to kill until the main event. So there was a lot of music, a lot of like live performances and stuff. So WrestleMania, and then Snoop Dogg on commentary again, just shouting about how he'd put a huge bet on Jake Paul. So when a very important moment's happening in the fight, you can just hear Snoop Dogg going, "Get my money, Jake."
You know what? I had no interest in watching this. Now you told me, I'm going to have to watch it.
True Geordie as well, the jammy son.
Oh, who's he fighting?
No, he put
No.
$7,000 on Jake Paul. I think it was first 2 rounds KO. He put $7,000 on him.
I know, but he bragged about it like he was really clever. But I'm pretty sure that it was that Jake Paul was like heavy favourite.
And now the True Geordie is cutting promos on Chael Sonnen because Chael Sonnen. I'm keeping up to date.
What's
with the
going
kids,
on?
man.
What is this?
Up to
This
date
is-
with the kids, me, because Chael Sonnen was speaking about a bald guy he saw on the internet, just speaking about boxing despite not knowing anything about boxing, which sort of does sound
It's
like
true.
True Geordie.
Very true. Yeah.
So the True Geordie's like, "Wait, I think you were speaking about me, and here's why you're wrong." Basically, I train boxing, me,
I feel like we should give a shout out at this point to Tom Ransom, who we used to work with at What Culture. He did the MMA section and shot the wonderful Orlando documentary when we were over there. But he's a legitimately very talented guy and set up, once he left, he set up MMA on Point. And True Geordie sometimes gets him on the round table when they watch the fights live because he's a bit of an expert. He knows very much what he's talking about. But he's also the calmest. So you've got all these lads around the table and True Geordie and them all going, "Go on, yeah, knock him out, Connor." And then Tom's just sat there going like, "That was actually a good round for Khabib." And it's just like, he just goes the other. And he's always right. Like, he's always right. Whereas Geordie's an emotional guy. Bless him.
That's what we like about him, though, isn't it?
Oh, I pure love that guy. Yeah, he's great.
Even if he's wrong, at least he's showing emotion.
It sounds like Jack is angling for a celebrity boxing match against the True
Oh,
Geordie.
go on, well,
Can you imagine that? Oh my word! I'd be like I'd be a stain on the canvas.
sorry to announce it, though, but like, apparently Chael Sonnen's taken Jack, and I was going to break your heart. I'm going to have to pick someone else.
Try to think how much money I'd have to be offered to box True Geordie. Quite a bit.
No, I'll go against the tradition, the fine sport.
Oh, I'd bulk right up me. I'd get pure massive.
I would. Just
And
Andy Ruiz it, man. That's what I would do.
You'd what? Andrew Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz it. Just rock up there, tits out, bosh.
It's that easy. It's just
Yeah, that's that
easy.
easy.
You've just got to want it
Eat
more.
on the way to the ring, just to make sure.
That was a
Supported
nice-
by Ginster's pasties. Oh no, wait, sorry, he's not endorsed by them. Sorry, just eating down the ring. All right.
That was
cool.
a nice deviation from. I like sometimes our tangents are good. That was a good one. That.
Well, yeah. Sometimes I think we need to make it more natural and like we're actually.
We do have to do a bit of that, obviously.
Obviously we do,
for the
yes,
people
'cause,
listening. But yeah,
It's a thought, though. Again, to keep.
no.
I mean, the excuse me, the government guidelines is the middle of May. But in terms of what that is realistically, I've got no idea. So maybe start of June, pencil that in tentatively. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
You know what we should do? we should do the webcam setup, like in different parts of the office, and then be like, hey, oh no, wait, and then like the Jericho countdown clock come on, and be like 3, 2, 1, oh, we can go meet up, and then just go around the corner and we're actually in the room again.
It's gonna be weird sat there in person. I quite like the Zoom me. I don't know what it is.
It's got used to it after a year, as you can tell. What else has happened here? From the Beaten.
He did like a spike, didn't he? Or was it
It's called the Nigerian Nail, Jack.
Yes.
Is it actually?
It is actually called the Nigerian Nail, which is the same as a Samoan spike.
Right, okay. Fair enough.
Must be alliteration.
And I
It's like all the Spike Lee characters.
I coined the British bum poke on Saturday.
Oh, Matthew loved that.
Who doesn't love a British bum poke?
Well,
eh?
that is very true, yeah. Absolutely.
So I imagine Ross Tweddell as the evil foreigner. That's right. I give Biggie a title, right? Where's you coming from? The British bumhole. Bianca Belair holds her title victory party, hosted by the Street Profits. She motivates the... What? Motivates the M2O. Get the...
Oh, sorry. Motivates them to...
Oh, there we go. Them to get the SmackDown. It was like the EST or something. I'm missing out something. Their SmackDown titles back. She also thanks Sasha Banks and says there's nobody she'd rather make history with. Backstage, Sasha is fuming. And elsewhere, Bayley mocks Belair for crying at the start of the WrestleMania match, saying that she probably didn't think she was going to win. Bayley wants to challenge her and take the title. So already on the SmackDown side, we have the idea of Cesaro versus Reigns and Bayley versus Belair for WrestleMania Backlash Rebound, or whatever it's called. So, yeah, looking all right so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rolling along. It's rolling on the river, SmackDown. I assume that's a good thing. What tune?
It's not called Rolling on the River, so I always forget what it is when I try to look it up.
Proud Mary.
That's it. The Dirty Dogs, or the Top Dogs.
Yeah.
Michael finally said it. He finally said dirty dogs at the second time of asking. I made note of that. Bloody hell.
That was worth mentioning.
Why did he keep doing it? There was no sort of joke to it. He's just going, oh, here's the wrong name for these lads. I'm just saying the wrong name now. That's just what I do. Yeah. I'm Michael Cole.
In fairness to Cole, though, because he's all about the hashtags and the branding and stuff, they've never been announced as the Dirty Dogs. And the T-shirts aren't available to buy on WWE.com. It's the only two in existence, the ones that they own. So he's like, I'm not going to acknowledge that. Cole's got standards.
Michael Cole's like Roman Reigns. He's not going to acknowledge folk until they do something.
Yes. It's like, nah, Corey can call you that.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. We should have a heel Michael Cole and see how that pans out.
Oh my God. Never been
No.
Oh, we're here. Pat McAfee was fantastic, I thought, on commentary. What a breath of fresh air he was. Just stood up there for no reason whatsoever. I think it's when the tag team match is happening. You can just see him in the background, stood up, just having a great time.
Yeah.
He's one of those people who's just got so much enthusiasm, but it's real. You can tell it's genuine, so it just comes across so well. In defense of Michael, by the way, we've all got little mistakes that we repeat. Like I always, or a lot of the time I used to anyway, call Dana Brooke Dana White, just in videos and that, and it would get left in sometimes, and people would just, that's the UFC, man. I'm like, I know. Grr. Anyway.
Yeah. I often make mistakes on this podcast, but no one ever points. I'm joking, of course. Dirty Dogs retained their tag titles against the Street Profits after a sneaky blind tag allows Ziggler to hit the zigzag on Montez Ford. The tag team title division SmackDown, it's very solid. They have good matches, but there's not a lot happening.
I just feel like I've seen the matches that happen about 100 times before. That's why they're just sort of, I know it's the same sort of teams going around in a cycle, and I just feel like I've seen it a million times now, but it looks like the Street Profits Reclaim season is going all the way through. That's what they call it, is it? I can't remember what they call it. Going all the way through to WrestleMania Backlash, where I assume they will actually do it.
I hope they do. I like them. But I like the Dirty Dogs as well. I like them both. So torn.
Yeah. Nia Jax keeps interfering in a singles match between Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Natalya still gets the win when Nia gets up on the apron, forcing Shayna to stop in her tracks and fall victim to a roll-up. Nia goes to attack Natalya afterwards, but Tamina takes her out. Wow, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
I hate how Shayna Baszler is in kayfabe and what we see on the storylines and whatnot and on TV. She's a terrible technical wrestler. Like she can't handle reversals, and she can't handle being like out wrestled and out maneuvered in roll ups. And I don't like that. That's a fact in her character because she should be the opposite. She is the opposite in real life, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah.
I can forgive it in this instance because she was in there with Natalia Neidhart, so of the extended Hart family. So she's I can forgive it in this instance. No, I agree completely. But,
yeah. Remember at WrestleMania when Natalia got ready to do the sharpshooter and she's like, oh no, wait, Cesaro does that now.
That's
she stopped. Yeah, and then she went over on the time.
Isn't it weird how how a move is so over in a place? Do you remember when Trish Stratus set up for the sharpshooter in her last Raw match and the crowd just went, oh, because I think it was in Canada. What do you think England should have one?
It would just be the running power slam, I guess.
Right, okay. Fair enough. Everyone goes mad for the running power slam.
Yeah. Oh, no, someone goes to sunset flip you, and instead you sit down on them and grab their legs. I mean...
Why is that an English one?
Because that's how Bulldog beat Bret Hart. 80,000 fans.
Yeah, okay, fair
Wembley
enough.
Stadium. Yeah, I'm trying to think, what Ross, you're cleverer than me. What would be a move we go, all the Brits know that?
A scrap.
Sure.
Just doing that. You want to count here? Guy just falls over in shock. That's a British finishing move right there.
Do the low drop kick. And, shades of Roy Keane.
This taunt, just arms out wide. Oh, yeah, that one. From like a street away.
Two lads on the opposite side of the ring going, hour then. No, you come here. No,
do you know where I'm from? Oh, no, your brother? Yeah.
I'm my brother as well, mate. Cesaro doesn't get his match with Roman Reigns, but he does face Jey Uso in the main event. He's in control, but Seth Rollins attacks from behind and screams that "Death feud isn't over." Nah.
Fantastic.
I was enjoying the booking. I thought, Cesaro Roman, that's fresh and funky. And then the Rollins feud's carrying on, and I don't know why. I do know why, because WrestleMania Backlash, but yeah.
It would be horrible if Cesaro lost.
It would.
Yeah, which might happen.
Maybe. Seth doesn't need to get any heat back. He's Seth Rollins.
No, he's got an evil new theme. Still got the suit game on point. And that I watched him shouting at least 3 times. I enjoy it when he shouts. Don't know what it is about it, but I just enjoy listening to that pitch.
If
You know what I mean?
do it again, please.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's
dear.
a sad one.
Like a
Sad
baby
Robin.
owl. Whenever Seth Rollins shows up on SmackDown, I'm like, oh yeah, you're back. I forgot.
What's your beef with Seth Rollins? With Sethy Drifter?
He's just very there.
Oh,
right
no.
now.
He's Seth Ruddy
He comes out
Rollins.
and goes, and says a bunch of stuff, and there's
Doesn't
words
need to be.
there, but there's nothing there.
I disagree.
That's the point, though, isn't it? Because he's just full of sugar, honey, ice, and tea, baby.
Yeah.
Trying really hard to just tailor the
Wow.
language once again, just to peel the curtain back,
That's
everybody.
really- is that from something?
That's
Yeah, I've
from,
never heard that before.
What's that band called? Oh God, Bring Me the Horizon. They've got a song, haven't they? Sugar, honey,
But you said it in like a
ice,
smooth.
and tea.
You said it
You said it like a
beautifully,
smooth
Ross.
jazz way.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Boney M this week.
Do
Welcome to Jazz Club.
do sugar, honey, ice and tea. Do.
But I was going to say that's the point of Seth Rollins. He's just full of hot air, so he is. But I like what he says. He says it with conviction, even though it means nothing. My coffee's just kicking in now.
I like
I
that.
can
I
tell,
agree.
man. Oh. The Ultimate Warrior tearing it apart. And you're going to need all that boundless enthusiasm as we go into Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre addresses Mace and T-Bar, attacking him last week, accusing them of being aligned with MVP. MVP comes out and strenuously denies this, but Drew is again ambushed by the pair, because if you had Mace and T-Bar working for you, would you admit it?
I enjoyed the
Afterwards-
segment though, because both their points of view made sense, and it called back to things that happened in the past, which doesn't always happen on Monday Night Raw. So I quite enjoyed that.
What
Even
do
though
you both
it-
their points of view?
So MVP's point of view made sense in the fact that it could have just been any random locker room member, because they harped back to that bit where Drew McIntyre was calling out the entire locker room. Obviously, Drew's point made sense because MVP came out, I know the entire thing doesn't make sense because Retribution always lose to the Hurt Business, and then MVP seemingly replaced the Hurt Business with the people they would always. I've got lost here. The people they would always beat, which makes no sense. But I like the promo itself. Made sense, in my opinion, and it was good.
Fair enough.
Also, Adnan, right at the start of the show, used the word storylines. Can you believe it?
Did he?
He said storylines are going to develop right at the start of the show.
Oh, my word. You can't be saying that, Adnan.
Adnan
Still
is going to be
real
put
to me.
in a bin bag and sent to Mickey James. Afterwards, Mason T-Bar say they're going to make Drew
I've got
extinct.
the
Go
promo written down here.
Please go ahead.
Threats, bugs, birds, porcupines, hedgehogs, snakes, saber-toothed tiger. Hey up, saber-toothed tiger. That's extinct, right? Gone forever. That's exactly what we're going to do to Drew McIntyre. They're so crazy, aren't they?
Yeah.
What was all that about?
I think I could tell what they'll go for. Wait a minute, I'll do the old Morecambe and Wise bit. Just realised. What do you think of that promo? Rubbish!
Oh, classic. Classic.
For the people over 70s there who listen to the podcast. Oh, wait, there's more. Drew demands a handicap match against the former Retribution members. What's the handicap? Retribution. And it gets it later on in the night. He wins by DQ and Mason T-Bar won't stop beating him down the corner. And Braun Strowman makes the save. Choo-choo. This leads to a tag match where Drew is DQ'd for beating down Mason in the corner. Strowman and Drew rip their masks off, revealing that it was Mason T-Bar all along, as they aren't going... It's those blogies off NXT and the Raw commentary team from a few years ago. They're just
Oh, yeah,
Mason
he was.
T-Bar.
Yeah, it's very strange. Because they did refer to that on commentary once. It was like, I forget, Mia Yim was definitely there for some reason. They referred to somebody's NXT name. And I can't remember who it was at the time, but it was weird, yeah, how it is just Mason T-Bar, but maskless.
Yeah. When I realised that the way I wrote that sentence made it sound like Drew and Braun ripped their masks off, their own masks off, like Mission Impossible. It's just
Revealing
Kane and
that they
Undertaker.
are Mason T-Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Retribution continues to be terrible. They continue to make me laugh. So if nothing else, thanks, lads. The Viking Raiders beat Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander in a direct rematch, move for move, from last week's Raw.
Yeah.
Only difference being Adnan calling their finish the Viking Express. So the Viking Experience.
Oh.
But the Viking Express does sound like a cool 80s tag team.
It does,
Everyone.
yeah, that's good actually.
Everyone must be a train. That's three now, isn't it? Tamina, Braun, and now the Vikings.
Yeah.
Everyone's
I
a train.
The Tamina train was her momentum and her fans. You're one of the Tamina train, surely.
I am getting that confused, aren't I? That's not a thing to really do. That's a thing I do on my own.
Yeah, I was like, wait, is the Tamina train a real thing? Or have you just...
I don't know. To be fair, you've said it so many times that I didn't know for a second there. I thought, yeah, it is a thing that WWE have done.
So is this your thing? My thing's puppets. Ross's thing is trains.
What's your thing, Jack? Unicorns? Candy
yeah,
canes?
yeah. Why not? One of them. One of those ones. Unicorns.
Being lovely. There you go.
We need more unicorns in wrestling. I've always said that.
That's right. Write that down.
I used to do Unicorns of the Week.
That's
Did it for
right, you
3
did.
years. Yeah.
Yes, and then WWE shamelessly ripped it off. Charlotte Flair cuts a similar promo to last week about how she's the best and the biggest star in the division. She wasn't aware that the camera was on her at the time. She's interrupted by both Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Rhea thinks Asuka will beat Charlotte in their match tonight, which makes Charlotte laugh. Haha. She reminds Asuka that she was the one who beat her undefeated streak. Asuka is furious. She's fuming. And says she'll beat Charlotte tonight. Yep.
It's interesting that you say that because I was going to point out that there's a way that Charlotte talks to babyfaces when she's the bad guy that makes me really angry. And I don't know if it's her being a great heel or whether it's... I get the sense that she kind of means what she's saying. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the booking behind it would suggest that, yeah, I am this. But you know what it is, Jack? It's the same thing with the Young Bucks. Charlotte and the Young Bucks are saying the exact same thing they're saying as heels they are baby faces, but now it's like, oh, right, yeah. I realize how unlikable that is.
They're just putting stresses on different words in the sentence. And well, the Bucks don't even do that.
That's too good for stressing.
Charlotte should be one of the Bucks. That'll be interesting.
Charlotte Buck.
Yeah. She tarnishes her dad's incredible legacy.
Jogging to save
Hockney.
Rick. Backstage of a trip
I
pay-per-view.
forgot about the jog. Oh, so good. Come on, Nick.
Come on. Oh, wait, I'm got any friends. All right, just me then.
Dad's in trouble.
That's right, the bar's shutting and they need the bill paying. Riddle interrupts a Randy Orton interview backstage. Oh, great. Orton doesn't know who he is, but what... Recurring bit with Riddle is him going and going, whoa, dude, and then people going, all right, bye, and just leaving, or not knowing what he is, which is great. But wants a match against him to teach him a lesson. And then Riddle surprisingly wins by reversing an RKO into a crucifix pin.
Another
Change
roll
of
up.
the late, great Rey Mysterio on SmackDown.
Yeah.
In a match where Orton reportedly sustained an injury.
He knocked his shoulder, didn't he? I think
When
it
he
was
was-
off a scoop power slam when he sort of went down and then came back up and he was like, oof, my arm's a bit hanging off now. So yeah, I thought it was, I don't know if this is just me looking into things too much, but the way that Orton kept grabbing Riddle in a headlock and whatnot and going like, this bit is about respect. Do you understand me? It's all about respect. And then Riddle would go, yeah, man, I understand, man. Do you reckon he was actually like, you know, cranking it a bit harder than he normally would and teaching that no good young man a lesson?
If I had to guess, I'd say no, because I think Orton's a bit checked out. I don't think he really cares.
I was going to say this because it looked like he's reaching that part of his career like Shawn Michaels, where Shawn Michaels just started taking the PISS out of people because there were certain mannerisms in that match that Orton was doing where he's just like he couldn't give a toss about the match itself. Then the sort of, yep, before he hit the DDT. He's just a middle-aged man having a whale of a time, isn't he?
Have you seen the fan footage of him making his entrance at WrestleMania? Pretending to slip like Mandy Rose.
No, I didn't.
He's walking down all slowly in his Randy Orton way. And I guess he might wait until... Because I don't remember it from the night.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the camera like cut away or something. And he goes like, oh, just like that. And then just looks at the crowd and goes like, pfft, and keeps going. Hey, he doesn't care, that man.
I fully support Randy Orton turning into 97 Shawn Michaels, just doing what he wants and doesn't care.
I tell you what, though, it's a good match, though. I thought again, Riddle is on a roll of good matches on Raw.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah, true. I mean, they took the belt off him, so I'm confused what their aims for him are. But yeah, it was a good match.
It is a strange, to your point, it's a strange trajectory to lose the title and then get your ass whooped by Bobby Lashley the night later and then beat Randy Orton. Very strange.
Very weird. I wonder
Up
what's
and
happening.
down like Taz's old entrance music in WF. Beep,
Oh.
beep, beep. What's it called?
Or Adam Pacitti entrance music in WCPW.
Of course, more people would understand that reference
Are you
than
ready?
Taz's WF one.
Boom! Get up, get up!
That's what Barber said to him when he saw him. But yeah, Riddle still delivering in ring and with quality matches. Let's hope for his sake he performs the same in the courtroom. Nia and Shayna face Naomi and Lana, but the match is interrupted by Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, who show footage of Nia's, can't even read this out of falling asleep, of Nia's falls last week. Nia chases after them, allowing Naomi and Lana to isolate Shayna, who is not good at the technical stuff, and win the match. Backstage, Shayna blames Nia and storms off. Angel Garza, of all people, comes up to Nia and asks what she sees in Reginald.
Who we've not seen for weeks.
Everyone fancies Nia.
Yes, Enzo fancied
Everyone.
Nia.
Yeah.
Remember that? That storyline, it just got totally... was it just before Enzo got released, maybe?
I think it was just before it got released. So there was so many things. It was like it's like the season finale of X-Files. There's so many unresolved plot lines
Vince has got...
that Enzo had because he was so, equality stuff in the ring was really good. He was carrying so many different divisions.
Vince
and then he
has
wasn't.
Vince has got this... He's clearly got this idea on the back burner, Nia Jax romance angle, and just occasionally tries to bring it out, and then things get in the way. But he's desperate to follow through with this, but I don't know what the end game is.
Do you reckon Vince McMahon has asked out Nia Jax and just turned him down? And this is a rib. This is a rib from Vince McMahon.
Yeah, maybe.
Turn
maybe.
me down? Here's everyone.
What would a date with Vince McMahon be?
Oh, can you even imagine?
Exhilarating.
Yeah?
Here's the dinosaur skull. Pal. He just thinks he just speaks in commentary.
What a maneuver!
Welcome everyone to a date with me. Sets off fireworks inside the restaurant.
Soundtracked by Aretha Franklin. Wow,
Have you heard this song? It's from my favorite band, Limp Bizkit.
Wow,
I can't say the name of the song without getting demonetized, but you know what it is. Oh.
I tell you what, though, it is weird. I was just got this written down on my notes here. Apparently, on Peacock, Mandy's slip has been edited out of WrestleMania on Peacock.
Oh, it's ruined.
Yet still, it's canon in storyline. So imagine just going back. You've not seen WrestleMania and going back like, what are you bloody talking about? Like,
well,
on
now,
this episode, I was going
to say, I now think what they've done is they've tried to retcon it so that now it's canon that Nia slipped, but the first slip by Mandy never happened. But I don't know.
Right, and also, analysing this like it's Game of Thrones. Also, they didn't show Peacock footage of it. Last time they did, but this time was the We Network footage because it's not on Peacock. You know what? My brain hurts trying to figure this out. But it's naff. It's naffer than the idea of Vince McMahon going on a date and using words like, "Do you have the wherewithal to ask for a starter?" Yeah, so this happened. Also, Reginald is off TV for whatever reason, so we have to have someone else be really annoying. So well done, Angel Garza.
Oh, I like Angel Garza. I'm sad that he's in this.
yeah.
He's a gorgeous, talented man.
Hopefully, he's not on every single show ever, because that was the downfall of our pal Reggie. It's Reggie's fantastic, but not getting shoved down your throat every single week.
But that's it. He'll be the dude on Raw, and then Reggie will be the SmackDown. Oh, there we go. You know what? That's actually all right.
Why are we comparing Reginald, who can move, to the excellent wrestler that is Angel Garza? I'm a bit of an Angel Garza fanboy, I must admit.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
Those of us with eyes are.
Yeah.
But because this is the standard of the women's tag division, where we're now trying to decide if this is a good thing or bad thing, in a segment based around botches.
Right.
Let's move on.
No, we didn't finish. Oh, yeah, we did finish reading the segment. Sorry, my apologies. Sorry.
We need to say as well, why were Mandy and Dana out there when last week they were running away saying it wasn't worth it? It's not worth it, mate. Not worth it. They were doing the British fight.
Come on.
Got my pop.
It's very confusing, isn't it?
It is. So we should stop staring directly at it. It's like the sun. You're not supposed to look directly at the women's tag division. Mrs. Guest on Miz TV is Maurice. Again. They're interrupted by Damian Priest, who's annoyed at the cheap way he lost to Miz and Morrison last week. Maurice offers a Priest a match against The Miz, which he accepts. Miz throws champagne in his face and runs away with Maurice. Priest later wins despite interference from Maurice.
Yeah. So a lot of this Raw apparently was so similar to last week's Raw because there's been another outbreak, allegedly. Or reportedly, I should say. So they couldn't use certain people, apparently. So that might be why a lot of it was very similar. Or my theory is that Vince forgot that last week's Raw happened and this is what it would look like if he booked it again, the same show, but just slightly different. Because apparently he did rewrite a lot. It was that exciting news story that we all love on a Monday. Vince has arrived late. The show's being rewritten as we speak with hours to go. That gets my juices going, that.
Oh, I love. So is that just like a scheduled post every Monday?
Yeah. No, I genuinely get excited by that news storyline because I'm like, Raw's going to be interesting.
There's never any
week.
detail to it, isn't there? There's always just Vince McMahon's rocked up late and he's rewritten it, but there's no extra detail. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit of razzle dazzle, news reporters.
Yeah.
Well, get some juice on. Not some juice, some tea. Not the juice, the tea.
I can only imagine that their sources are not privy to the writing meetings. I don't know. So they see Vince arrive late and burst in, and they just text Dave. They're like, "Oh, here he is."
Guess what? Guess what's getting rewritten? But I like the idea that they do this every week. So one time, just to break it up and make it mean something, they need to have a news story that comes out, and it's, guess what? Vince saw the script and thought it was mint, and everyone is just chilling out for a few hours, getting ready for the big show.
Is he back? The big show.
Oh, yo.
I tell you, it was clear to me, though, that they just told Miz and Maurice to get out in this segment and just say words. There was no plan whatsoever, because I thought, in terms of a Miz and Maurice segment, this is maybe their worst ever. Because it was just an advert, wasn't it? They were just like, what should we say? What should we say? We have this show here and that show there. But to be fair to Damien Priest, he made a fantastic Jake Paul reference because he called The Miz. He said to The Miz, "You're as delusional as Jake Paul thinking he's a real fighter." Ba-boom! Wabba-dabba! Yeah.
Yeah, dummy. Yeah, got the old sound effect. Yeah, and sadly it turns out that Damien Priest, despite looking exactly like a certain JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character from the manga and popular anime with the kids, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I was going to say, yeah, I realised something. We've got one important news story. Thank you, Ross. It turns out, no, it was just a tribute to Shawn Michaels. It's like, oh, all right. But speaking of silly anime for children, WWE, breaking news last night, have announced that they're going to be doing anime with Crunchyroll, which is...
Now, what's the significance of this, Matthew?
I can't wait, because it's either going to be amazing or completely awful.
So you're going to need to break it down for people like me and Ross. So
Crunchyroll is...
Is it like the big one?
One of the big ones, absolutely, because Crunchyroll you can get, like most parts in the world.
Is it like
There's a
Netflix?
streaming service for anime, and there's a lot of really good stuff on there. I love Crunchyroll's the... Oh no, I did an interview with them because they asked me, like, Matthew, you're vaguely famous who admits to watching One Piece. You sad get. So I did a lovely thing about how great some of the bits are.
Okay.
Blah, 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 boring people with One Piece. But no, the people who are... Sorry, go on.
So WWE are producing the anime themselves, and it's being streamed on Crunchyroll, or they've this idea. I don't understand.
I didn't check that bit of it. I doubt they're going to be producing it themselves because they're not an animation studio. So
okay.
I imagine it's, look, let's collab. You make this.
You can have our trademark names.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Let's make this work.
How's a WWE anime going to look? That's weird.
Again, either amazing or, oh, that was bad. Has that been a few wrestling animes? The Tiger Mask one for a few years ago?
Yeah.
The famous...
Obviously, yeah, the original one, yeah, from the 80s. But then, the one that...
The Big Dog Bebop by me on the Cultaholic Wrestling YouTube channel. I'll have to show you this, Matthew.
I remember that one. God.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, I actually do.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
The intros. Yeah.
Because it's amazing to me because I know what it is, but I'm like, that's really well done. But I'm like, does Ross know what this is?
I had no idea. I just said to Richard one day, I want to do like an anime style intro. Can you send me an anime sort of title sequence to sort of rip off and turn it into a wrestling thing? So Richard sent me one, and then it just turned to I think it was like a 9-part series. And he said 9 intros were done in a row up in the build up to WrestleMania 34. That was 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From what I can tell, anime fans seem similar to wrestling fans in that nobody hates anime more than anime fans. So,
yeah.
So I'm guessing that when this gets released, this is just a guess, but it's going to be like absolutely critically slated because it's probably not going to be like anime is seen as like high art by a lot of people. There's a lot of anime that's really critically acclaimed. So this isn't surely going to be received well.
In some ways, you're right. In other ways, not so right. But
okay.
No, you're doing good though, Jack. Listen to me, trying to sound like a snob. There are a lot of anime where people go, no. I know this is stupid. I'm not watching this thinking like, oh wow, W anime. That's going to be the next Neon Genesis Evangelion, anything like that. It's like, no, it's going to be the W bloody anime. So there's plenty of stuff there where you watch it the same way you sit down and watch, I don't know, Kitchen Nightmares and go, well, this isn't Downton Abbey, but I still love it, you know. So.
Oh, I think I was going to mention this on the podcast, but then it was WrestleMania week and Sam replaced me on the podcast. It's just when you said Kitchen Nightmares. Have either of you heard or seen a program called This Is My House? Have I mentioned this?
No.
This is my.
Is this on BBC One?
Ross, it's your next Hall of Fame nomination, in my opinion.
Is this the one where? Just sorry where somebody there's like 5 people maybe, and they're all pretending to own this house.
Yeah.
But one person actually. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It won't be a Hall of Fame nomination.
Wow.
I wasn't a fan. I've seen one episode and I wasn't a fan.
There's a lot of Flow Rider. There's a lot of Welcome to My House in between segments.
That might be a big reason for it.
There's 4 blokes who have to take. Is it Stacey Dooley?
Stacey Dooley.
Around a house, one by one. Oh no, all together. They're all in there together, and they're all like, "This is my kitchen counter," and then the other one's like, "Actually, it's my kitchen." It's bizarre. And then in a separate room somewhere, socially distanced, there's like 5 celebrities watching it as well, going, "I reckon it's him." So it's like a mixture of Gogglebox and like a mystery. It's bizarre.
What did they win? What? That's what I want to know.
I think maybe it's a cash prize or a holiday.
You go through all of that effort, because the prize wasn't made clear to me when I watched my episode. That was my main sticking point.
The worst part for me was when they brought in the men one by one in front of this woman who was one of their wives, but the other three had to also pretend that it was their wife. So she'd be like, "What was your wedding day like?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, hi Vanessa, you're right." Just like
absolute psychopaths.
They call her different names as well. Hello, Sharon.
But she's got to sit there and like not react to anything, so she doesn't give away who the husband is. Yeah, it was weird.
That sounds. You know what? That's something I wouldn't watch. But I'd listen to someone like you talk about it.
Just one more. I don't want to sidetrack Raw too much.
No, don't worry. No one cares.
But there was one bit where one of the episode I watched, one of the men was like a bit of a like a very intelligent professor or like lecturer or something, and he was like, "Yes, well, this part of the house was this was built in the 1700s or something like that." And then this other bloke who wasn't an intellect went, "Actually, I think you find it was built in 1761 exactly." And I was like, "How does he know that?" It was really bad. But the stupid one turned out to actually be the owner of the house. I couldn't believe it. I was fuming.
You're fuming.
Anyway, it's a weird program. Very weird. Sorry.
Thank you for Jack's long story. Back to This Is My House. Monday Night Raw. Elias is out with Riker to play us a song, but he's interrupted by the New Day with Woods on bass guitar. Still able to play the New Day stuff on there as well because he's the most talented man in the world. Elias wins a singles match against Kofi. Because I guess they're the only other proper tag team on Raw.
That was sad, that was sad that Kofi lost.
They're not, though, because you've got the Vikings, you've got Cedric and Shelton, you've got more options than just, Elias getting interrupted and then having a match, which seems to happen every single week. But I tell you what, after seeing this, I went on the old Twitter machine and I typed in Xavier Woods bass guitar, and there's a video of him rocking out, playing some System of a Down. I don't know if people have seen that. It's fantastic.
He's so great.
He's very committed to learning new skills, even as an adult, and I really respect that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. It's the way you said it.
I don't know. I got very serious there.
At the suggestion of Adam Pearce, Sheamus issues an open challenge for the US title. Does a good promo. Do like Sheamus talking right now. Humberto Carrillo answers, but Sheamus beats him down before the match can begin and says he's not worthy. Get in. Good to see you again, Carrillo, mate.
Is he still real jacked, brother? Real jacked.
He's got stubble and all sorts. It's exactly like you said, puberty ever since he's been away.
That's it. That's why he's not been on TV, because every time they give him the mic, he goes, I'm really looking forward to my match.
I like the subversion of the open challenge trope from Sheamus, though. That's pretty good. It's a closed challenge, if anything.
The thing I love about Sheamus these days is the fact that his street clothes, which is what he was wearing, which is, I don't know what the get-up's called. You know what I mean? He's got taped fists. But when he's in his wrestling gear, he doesn't have taped fists.
Yeah.
He untapes his fists for a fight. Wow.
That's it. Tapes are off. Charlotte faces Asuka in the main event and gets her in the figure eight. But Rhea sneakily breaks up from the outside because she's been watching all match. It was a weird match because they had bits where Asuka and Charlotte, they did a neck breaker on the apron and both fell down. So they both did double down so Rhea can go ha 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 as they went to break. But even the commentary was like, who's doing the move to who there? They both hurt themselves. There was a horrible moment when she went for the code breaker, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it looked terrible. So they were a bit off what the usual standard. But then Charlotte attacks Rhea, allowing Asuka to roll her up and get the win. Charlotte beats down the referee to end the show and get herself suspended. Dun dun dun. According to all the news with Zenly and stuff, it's because she's having dental work done.
Well, that ain't true.
Oh.
Is it not? Oh.
Did you not see what she said to Dave Meltzer on Twitter last night?
No?
I saw a bit of it, but...
Go to hell, Dave Meltzer.
Dave's just getting open abuse from a lot of wrestlers now.
I mean,
or a lot of...
he's got a way with words, hasn't he? He needs to sort it out, doesn't he?
Well, Yeah, he's not the most tactful.
No.
Dave's someone who was perfectly all right with how he operated until he discovered Twitter.
Yeah,
And that's just done a number on him.
Yeah,
Like Ben Askren.
I think this is on the clip that was highlighted was from his radio show though, and it's just have a bit more self-awareness about you, a bit more tact. Yeah, it's weird, but I thought the match was good. I thought it was, there were a few bits that were hairy, scary here and there, but I thought it was fast, liquid wrestling with a few brutal spots in between. And I like the fact that Charlotte, after she got rolled up and pinned, did she get rolled up and pinned? Am I remembering that correctly?
yeah, it was roll up, I think.
I like that she didn't go like, you got me this time there, Bonnie lad. I'll get you back next time. I like the fact that she fully cracked, and that's a bit of a different character thing for Charlotte there.
Yeah, but when she comes back, she'll do that. She'll have nice new teeth, so she'll do the, "Yeah, got me," and like, ding. That's a joke. I'm not Dave Meltzer.
It's a joke.
NXT has a new logo and theme music, courtesy of Poppy.
She's taken our.
Yeah. Poppy, take our. Kyle O'Reilly opens the show and wants to call out Karrion Kross, but is interrupted by Cameron Grimes. Grimes wants to invest in O'Reilly, who isn't amused, and hits him to set up a match later on. Mm-hmm. Now,
I'm confused by
Ross.
Kyle O'Reilly. Sorry to cut you off.
No, thank you. You
confused
echo
as
what I'm saying.
Because he's gone from being the punk lad in the class to sort of like, oof, I've got a boat stored down at the country club and I like to drink cider on it all day because I'm a bit naughty. That's the sort of vibe I was getting from Kyle in the opening segment there. Just the hat
So
and
Adam
the glasses.
Pacitti.
The hat and the glasses and whatnot, and the cool Kyle. I'm not quite sure about this Kyle O'Reilly, me.
Well, was
How
this
goes
the,
it, fellow kids?
Was this
vote
the
Tory.
Fellow trust fund kids? Was this the controversial outfit that people were saying he's ripping off Orange Cassidy? Or was that a different outfit?
No, it's the same. He came out during his entrance. He had the sort of Trilby. Was it Trilby? I kept my hats mixed up. I think
Some
it was
sort of hat,
Trilby and sunglasses and whatnot. And yeah, apparently you're not allowed to wear denim jacket now if you're not Orange Cassidy, which is strange. Very strange.
It was the jacket and the sunglasses for me that were a bit of a. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Orange Cassidy was actually annoyed. Probably not.
Have you seen him? He doesn't get annoyed at anything.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
What did Jim Ross say? Jim Ross had a really good call. Said, like, look how relaxed he is. That man's going to live to be 140 years old. Again, I've not been watching NXT very regularly, but because it's been moved to Tuesdays, I'm like, you know what? I have to do my due diligence for this fantastic podcast that I love so much. Let's watch it. And last time I saw Kyle O'Reilly, he was having that mega awesome death feud there with Adam Cole. And then he comes out here and he's like, hey guys,
Well, it's that WWE thing where they see something that's funny and then they have to punch it right into the faces of everybody until you realise it's funny, but in the way they want it to be funny. Just let Kyle be Kyle. Don't try and force Kyle to be funny. Just let him be Kyle, and we know it'll be funny, because this felt very forced to me and very unnatural for him. He's lost in no man's land, isn't he? I reckon. Just doesn't quite know what he is.
Yeah, everything Ross said I agree with. LA Knight faces Dexter Lumis, and Indy Hartwell shows up at ringside to distract both men. Knight catches Lumis coming back in the ring with a weird snapmare for the win, but then the important bit is Indy tries to kiss Lumis afterwards, but the way drag her to the back. Indy later abandons Candice backstage to look for Lumis. Candice doesn't realise she's alone and aggressively confronts Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, getting beaten down as a result.
I didn't know how to summarise this segment, but it was very weird. So Candice and Indy are walking along. Indy gets distracted. She sees Lumis off in the distance. She's like, oh, Candice doesn't realise that she's not got backup now. She's still walking down the corridor talking to herself. She bumps into Moon and Shotzi and goes, yeah, you think you're tough? Where the way? And then turns around, realises that Indy's not there, and then flips a cup of water into one of, I think, Ember's face, and then goes to run. And then the babyface tag champs catch her, drag her into a room, and savagely beat her down. I was like, whoa. Very strange.
I think the beatdown was warranted, me. Just let them podcast, will you, for goodness sake, Johnny and Candice. Just let Indy and Dexter podcast all night long.
Oh, I see, yes.
Call back to last week.
That was fantastic, Ross, yes. They should devil Morocco to each other.
Yeah.
That's it. He's now a verb.
I thought you were just using the word podcast as a substitute for anything that might get us in trouble on YouTube.
That became official Cultaholic Wrestling podcast law last week, didn't it? The word podcast meaning.
Yeah, it did.
That would be a good way of doing it, though. Oh, shut your podcasting mouth, chap.
Yeah.
Honestly.
What the podcast is
Yeah,
that?
my podcast.
It is sad. Just to peel back the curtain for everybody, we toned back the language completely last week, so there was no flamboyance whatsoever, and the podcast stayed monetized. So we can't say anything anymore ever.
Yeah, so we hope you all enjoyed last week's episode of Play Days, the podcast, because that's what we're going from now
Just
on.
in case you think we're being a bit weird, we're not. We're just trying to keep our jobs and make a bit of money.
I don't
Yeah, these
think
guys
it's
seem like, what's up with them? What happened to them? They're all Kyle O'Reilly now for some reason. Frank A. Monet interrupts a sit-down interview, I think I got that right, between Io Shirai and Beth Phoenix. Shirai is angry, says that she prefers cats before storming off.
Turned heel.
Go on.
Can't believe it.
Go on, no
believe it.
face in my eyes.
Turned heel.
Nah.
Then
Cats.
she doubled down, didn't she, on Twitter by posting a picture with a cat?
Can't
Fair.
believe it. After I bought all those NFTs of Io Shirai. Gutted.
What is
Anyway.
an NFT?
Oh no.
Is it a GIF? Is that
No. It's a.
It's the rights to an image, but you don't own the image, but you have to pay a lot for it, and it's a load of old podcast, if you ask me, Ross.
Yeah.
Where we at? Frankie Monet, by the way, saying that she used to watch Beth Phoenix when she was a kid. Yeah, very fiend for follows on Twitter pointed out Beth Phoenix is 40, Frankie Monet is 37.
But I thought that was the joke.
I couldn't tell though because I don't know that well.
Okay. I think she was just healing it up, but I'm not sure.
Oh, fair enough then. Shows what I know. The Grizzle Young veterans beat Breezango, which is probably the right decision. You bet you. God.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like Breezango, but you know.
They were dressed up as, let's see if we know the names. The British Guard.
So-
No, that's not right.
Were they beefeaters? No, that's not what beefeaters
No,
are.
not Beefeaters.
Okay.
No,
Right.
the lads who stand outside Buckingham Palace?
with the fuzzy helmet.
The Fuzzy Podcast.
Americans going to be
Fuzzy
sat there going, what? They don't know what they are by name? Surely not. That's all British people are, aren't they? We aspire to be those men in their fluffy hats. I've got no idea what they're called.
Oh, I just realised I know what they're called because I, like many people, have dared to go on YouTube and see what people have done when they've stood in front of them or not got the way, and they yell, "Get out of the way, the King's Guard!" They're the King's Guard. That's the
No,
name.
that's a Game of Thrones thing. Surely they can't be called the King's Guard. Is that true?
Oh, no, it must be Queen's Guard. Yeah, sorry, more than.
No, it might just
We're
be.
guarding the King. Oh, he's been dead for years. Sorry.
We're stealing a living. I tell you, I've started watching The Crown this week, and I am hooked. All the way back from the start, I've been watching it. Fantastic scenes, and I'm not a royalist at all. I couldn't give a hoot about the Queen, me.
Fair enough. Is it the Crown where the actor changes? Is it The Life of the Queen? And the
Basically,
actor-
yeah, I'm still in the 1950s. May I've only watched sort of 7 episodes, I think, maybe 8. What was the last thing I saw?
Apparently, well, I mean, if it wasn't for the concept of royalism, then we wouldn't have a regional identity up here. Apparently, we've based all that around King Geordies, because we took his side in the Civil War.
I never knew that.
I didn't even know that.
I think that's where it was from. But then Sunderland were parliamentarians, and Newcastle were royalists. So there's a big old derby.
Good job we got that resolved, and we don't hate each other or anything like that. God. I say we,
I think
not from County Durham.
that's a theory where Geordies came from, but I don't know if it's accurate. I'm not sure.
A
Let me
game
have a look
theory.
at my high
wait.
schools. Go on, Matthew.
Sorry, I realised a few segments ago, Jack, you did just say, "Oh, I was drinking me water." Have you seen the video that's been shared to me enough times where it's disturbed? It's a TikTok video. What about? Oh, it's like British people saying that.
What about?
What about? Oh. Anyway, the Grizzled Young Veterans beat the Queen's Guard. There we go. And I think the Grizzled Young Veterans looked fantastic here. They're one of the few things on NXT where they look like superstars, I feel. Just the way they deliver their promos, the way they fight in the ring and everything else like that. And maybe I'm biased because I'm British.
Well, it would help if James said something once in a while. That's the only thing that lets him down for me is the fact he just stands there and says nothing. And why would you when you got Zach Gibson next to you? But I think you need to say something, surely. Come on.
Does he need one line? Like, he could be the big cast. He could have one thing that he says.
What would he say? Because Zach Gibson's out there giving it a British colloquialism, isn't he? Can't even say that word right. Colloquialism. He's saying British he's saying British things, so he is like jog on and yanks and stuff like that.
Melt.
Yeah. You're a ice cream.
You should go, you're a podcast.
Yeah.
Try to think what more like a British saying. James Drake could put the proverbial bow on top of a grizzled young veterans promo.
After the match, you should say something like goodbye, like ta-ra.
Yeah. He does it after, right?
Toodaloo.
What's a famous... Oh, get the beers out. Someone's getting a phone call. He needs to take it, does he?
No, I do need to take it. I'm sorry.
James Drake needs to do Craig Charles rhymes at the end of Grizzled Young Vets matches. We've beat you down like a pair of pets. More of that next time from the Grizzled Young Vets.
Bye-bye.
No, that's good, but I prefer him doing some Take Me Out. Hey, let the butcher see the sausages. Wow, wow.
I prefer the Robot Wars. I think the Robot Wars one's fantastic.
Oh, okay,
idea.
I'll shut my
Sorry.
I just like these terrible little things he'd say, the segues.
EO prefers cats. Cats have got claws. It's all kicking off on Robot Wars. Bye-bye. I love it. I love Craig Charles.
Sarai wins her debut match. She was signed in February 2020, but obviously with COVID and whatever, she's only been able to show up now. She beat Zoe Stark, which is surprising, given that Zoe Stark just beat Toni Storm at the TakeOver pre-show, despite her best win ever. Stark is then attacked by Toni Storm afterwards until Sarai makes her back off.
I don't think it is that weird.
Yeah, I thought it puts Sarai, because Zoe Stark's been losing to the rest of the sort of main eventers recently, hasn't she? So it sort of puts Sarai straight in that upper echelon of the NXT women's division.
Yeah. Straight in there.
Yeah. Kushida issues an open challenge, there we go, for the Cruiserweight title, which Oni Lorcan answers. Kushida wins, but is attacked by Ricardo del Fantasma after the bell, and MSK run out to make the save.
Who backstage does not like Back to the Future? Because why has Kushida completely changed his gear? Had no shoes on this week, did he?
Has he been hanging out with Kyle?
Maybe.
What was he dressed like again? If I know.
He's just got tights on now, like normal trunks, and then he had no shoes on this week for some reason. Just taped up his little feeties. But I was a good match with it. Only Lorcan's good, isn't he? This is groundbreaking stuff on the podcast this week, but only Lorcan's a good wrestler.
Nobody is class yet.
Yeah.
The velocity with which he moves around the ring. I just thought I'd give a bit of...
But it's weird how Kushida's completely changed his look recently. I just don't know. Someone backstage had an issue with it, surely. That's how things work in that company, isn't it?
Just checking the...
Vince McMahon had never seen that new film, Back to the Future.
Sorry, lads, I was just checking the news chat because it was kind of kicking off a while ago.
Oh, what's up?
Meltzer's reporting that Kalisto was one of the released superstars that complained about his spot.
Oh.
You probably would if you were him, to be fair.
Yeah.
Apparently he didn't want to be in the Lucha House Party.
Fair again.
Yeah.
Fair enough then.
It's a shame, though, that did build up to the... they spent a long time building up to the split, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah. And then
it was such a mess, though. Remember Lucha House Rules on Raw?
Yeah, I loved it.
They just have like handicap matches just for the crack.
We're allowed 3. The Revival can only have 2. We've beaten the Revival. Ha 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 ha. On Robot Wars. It sounded like I was doing a poem.
And then losing Lars Sullivan 18 times. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Or beating him by DQ to get him over.
Rubbish.
Do you remember when Kalisto's push was happening, though?
Oh, with Del Rio.
Now, I always hark back. Yeah, it was Del Rio and there was Ryback, and then he beat Braun Strowman, remember, in a bin match.
Yeah.
Forgotten the name for it there. Dumpster
in a big
match.
bin match. And now his stuff will be sent to him in a bin. Oh, circle of life.
Rusev ended that push by beating him for the US title, and he cranked right back on the accolade. Oh, I remember that. That was good.
Yeah. Fabian Eichner and Marcel. Oh, here we go. It's good news. Bartel face ever rise with Alexander Wolf at ringside. Killing Dane.
Whenever you do a foreign accent, you don't just slur the words slightly, Matthew. I'm sorry.
I'm slurring the words.
You've done it for 4 different accents this podcast so far.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fabian Eichner.
Not lovely. That was good.
And Marcel Bartel.
I don't know how to pronounce that one correctly.
Okay. Face ever rise.
Canadian. Yeah. Ever good morning.
Alexander Wolf. See, I'm doing the W as a V because I thought that's how you do it.
Volkswagen.
Yes. Killian Dane comes out to confront Wolf. There we go. Just checking Jack. As does Drake Maverick, forcing Dane to carry his partner to the back. Imperium get the win in easy fashion.
Yeah. So it's a feud between Dane and Wolf. That's because they used to be friends in Sanity, I'm guessing. Has that been mentioned?
It's not
the Dandy
explicitly
Warhols.
said no.
The Dandy Warhols?
Remember them? A long time ago.
Oh.
We used to be friends.
I forgot that was them. I only remember Bohemian Like You. Watch him from every car advert ever. That was great song.
I didn't enjoy Wade, because obviously Wade Barrett was going to do it, but Wade Barrett comparing Imperium to the European Super League of Wrestling. Made no sense.
They're from Europe. They're super. I've got it, lads. Yeah.
Have you seen his gym at home as well? He's got a picture of Winston Churchill on the wall.
What, really?
Yeah. It's on his Twitter last night. He's got like, here's my home gym. And it's just got a massive, it's got Preston North End flag on the wall. And then just a picture of Winston Churchill up above the big thing.
You forget that people like Barrett and Regal are actually northern lads. Because they're British in WWE, they've had to be like, hello. Whereas actually, you forget that all English wrestlers ever are from the Northwest.
Yeah.
From the piers of Blackpool.
It's been how many years since Cole said that? I can't really sell. Oh, that and, Newcastle's only a 3-hour drive to London.
Yeah.
That'll be it. That's all people will say. My brain switched off then. Moving on. Kyle O'Reilly is stared down by Karrion Kross and Scarlett on his way to the ring for the main event. He beats Cameron Grimes to end the show.
Yeah. Bit of a... how do I put it? Like a bit of a innocuous ending. It wasn't the most all-action episode of NXT, was it, really, compared to what we've recently seen?
But we need to mention Cameron Grimes' promo where he shouts Ted DiBiase really loudly. It looks like we're going to get Ted DiBiase maybe doing an angle in NXT.
Whoa.
Because was that for an NFT? Was it betting on? Bidding for an NXT. All these bloody things. Bidding for an NFT on NXT, and then Ted DiBiase comes in.
Easy to say. What's the issue?
On Robot Wars. It was a good match at the end. But yeah, I agree with Jack. It was a bit of an inconsequential episode, I thought as well. It did a big rating. Well, not as big as AEW, but it's we won again. I don't really think that, everybody, but it did a big rating.
The battle may be over, but the imaginary war is far from over. They yelled at the end. Yeah, this was all right. There wasn't. I think I'm just gonna flick through the bits of NXT I want to watch because there wasn't a lot here that made me want to really watch every week.
I'm surprised to hear you say that, Matthew, because you're such a big fan of NXT. Sorry.
It's just there are some characters and some bits you go, oh, that's good, and then the rest of it's like.
Do you know what I've recently, and I'm not saying that you're at fault for this because things do change and opinions change based on the product changing, but I watched out of interest our first ever Culties Awards.
Oh, did you?
And I just skipped to a certain bit because I wanted to hear us talk about it because NXT won Promotion of the Year. And
what year was this? We did this?
2018.
Oh,
19?
18.
18, I want to say. Have we done
18
3?
was the first one.
Yeah, we've done 3, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we all just go, well, Promotion of the Year, obviously it's NXT, yeah. That's pretty much what we do. We're all just so good. Excuse me. So that things did change a little bit, I guess.
It has lost its way since then, though.
Yeah.
Remember 2018 and NXT? Ciampa and Gargano and all that. And now it is literally just watered down Raw, by and large, isn't it?
Thank you, Ross. Yeah.
In that same episode, Ross nominated Gargano Ciampa 1 for the match of the year. I nominated Okada Omega from New Japan, and it was weird hearing Matthew just immediately side with the Gargano. He was like, "Yeah, it's got to be Gargano and Ciampa." But you're right as well. It was fantastic.
Yeah. But see, I'm like Bischoff. He saw about 83 weeks and goes, yeah. And it's like, say, Meltzer gave this match 4 stars, and it was all flipping and flopping. And he's like, yeah, great. What was the story? What was I invested in? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to steal Bischoff's thoughts there. Gargano Ciampa had an amazing story, and then they did the stuff in the ring to get you into it. Now with the Coles and the Garganos and the Ciampas, it's like move, kick out, move. I'm like, I don't care.
There are exceptions because
sometimes it works. Obviously, I mean, I want to like it. I want me waste my time watching it otherwise.
Even if Walter's not got a story, you still want to see him cave in a lad's chest.
What's that story that they used to say? Ric Flair and a good night could get 3 stars out of a broomstick. I'm sure that's true. Love to see it. But at this point, I'm pretty sure Walter could get 4.5 stars out of a broomstick.
I want to see Walter in a, the Street Fighter 2 stages where in between fights where you beat up a car. I want to see Walter do that.
To a car.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Kyle O'Reilly, this is what I think of you. He's like, no. Yeah. That'd be great. AEW Dynamite, a.k.a. the best £5 Tony Khan ever spent. Hangman Page opens the show, beating Ricky Starks via submission. Taz distracts Hangman from the commentary table, allowing Hook to take him out from behind. Team Taz beat down Hangman until the Dark Order run out to make the save.
It's all about Hook Mania. Everyone's just running
it's all
wild.
about the Hook and how you book him. It's all about control. Look how big Hook is.
Look how big Hook is.
Hangman Page and Ricky Starks are like both men. Ricky Starks, bless him, landing right on his neck and covering it. Then, thankfully, going on Twitter and going, it's all right, I do a lot of DDP yoga, I'm fine.
He popped straight back up as well.
Yeah, it's popping up like Pop a Pirate. Fantastic.
I enjoy how he's like shooting McGavin now. I've never noticed in his matches before, but he had lots of like and stuff like that during his match. Fantastic. But I noticed during this match
is it going to last an hour?
It's going to, wait, two? Nearly.
2.
oh God, yeah. No way.
How are they going to pad that out? I'm obviously there'll be like maybe footage of a press conference or something like that, maybe to fill the first half hour. I don't know, but for him to say a 1-match event, it sounded like it was deliberate, and it's going to be interesting. That
maybe it'll all just be like Road 2 builder. Is there a big sporting event on that night? Maybe that's cut there. I don't know.
We'll have to see. Because if Jim Ross does the Gordon Solie and goes, 2 rings, 1 match? Oh, I quit. Penta and Trent have a hard-hitting match. Spanish commentator Alex I'm going to mess that up.
Abraham.
I was worried there because I completely blanked on what his name was.
Evil Alex is all
Evil Alex.
What an evil man.
Evil Alex helps Penta pick up the cheap win. It's weird because they did do some big moves to each other, but Penta, I've watched him for years. He does have this habit, if he can't be bothered. He does have the habit of having that finish where he's like, oh no, power drive from the apron, how crazy. And as soon as he hits that, whoever hits it, if someone hits on him, that guy's winning. If he hits it, the other guy's winning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now I've noticed that over the matches he's won. As soon as he did that, I'm like, cool. So I'm liking the feud. This match was just okay.
Alex is very schoolyard, isn't he?
I was about to say.
Mama smells.
Ooh, why I oughta.
It's weird how Alex and Alex Marvez, clearly two massive nerds, but they're incredible badasses on the AEW in different ways.
Is Marvez?
Marvez is, well, in terms of journalism, nothing gets in the way.
Right.
Nothing gets in the way of a good story from Marvez, and then you got Alex just like laughing at people's faces and whatnot, being a very evil man.
The 2 abilities, speaking Spanish and teleporting.
That's still one of my favourite AEW moments ever, when Omega had just stolen the belt and Marvez pops up from behind the production truck. Just get a quick word with you there, thing. It's only Ball here.
JR's a sit down. You know why that is? because he's a journalist.
Yeah.
And to segue that to something else that we're going to fill out the podcast with, has anyone else seen these? There's the thing going on Twitter. I'm not sure if it's an old thing that's been brought back, but it's people telling all the stories of how awkward Cilla Black was.
No?
There's a photo someone took of her sat at a restaurant and goes, here's my interaction with Cilla Black. She sat at a table I reserved and she refused to move. So I took a photo of her looking angry.
To be
And it was
fair,
all people quote tweeting going, was it one? She's on a plane and she refused to say hello to the crew or anything like that. She was sat first class until eventually the personal assistant had to go, oh, hello.
This is
Sorry about that.
heartbreaking
Still not
news.
feeling it. Apparently, allegedly, one of the people said to her, Cilla Black, I knew you couldn't sing, but I didn't realize you couldn't speak either.
it's like finding out Lorraine Kelly was a bit of a podcast as well. You know what I mean?
So the more you know about someone, the less you like them.
Lorrain Kelly's. There's been some things said about her.
I think Pacitti really liked her.
Well, yeah, because he's like that.
It's
a joke. It's a joke.
Alive.
JR has a sit-down interview with The Pinnacle, and they talk about Jericho being intimidated by Wardlow. MJF compares himself to Jericho at his age and says that he's coming to take Jericho's spot of blood and guts. I did like it when, I'm good for my age, I'm good for a 25-year-old Jericho. Cool. When you were 25, you were curtain jerking WWE Worldwide. I'm main eventing, and I beat you. I thought this was class from everybody who got a chance to talk. This made them look credible, make them sound credible. And even Wardlow managed to turn Jericho's stumbling over his words and getting the line wrong into something productive rather than going, ha ha. Let's go rewind that on Peacock and look at it, you messing up. So
It was certainly better than the Inner Circles one later on.
Yeah. Oh my god!
I flushed him down.
Yeah, let's have a quick thing there. The Inner Circle cut a promo on the Pinnacle. Santana Ortiz call out FDR. Jericho sings a bit of a weird song about MGF where he forgets his words again and it stops rhyming. Jack Swagger says something along the lines of, you'll have to suck something through a straw. And it's just a step back from the promos they did a few weeks ago. What were we saying?
Suck your meat through a straw. Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
Some
painful.
of our podcast.
There was the crowd, there was obviously a live crowd in there, but they didn't react to anything, and that just made it all the more painful.
I took his head, I flushed it down. It's like, what are you doing, Chris?
I took the ratings and I flushed them down.
I do enjoy how Jericho is sort of having to compensate for people who might not have watched for a few weeks, because he's having to sort of like hug Tony Schiavone when he gets to the ring. Yeah, I'm a real good guy now. Look at me and Tony, best friends in the world. Then to do that, he could have, if you didn't know, you would maybe just assume the Inner Circle are still heels, because it was very much like a Jericho clown heel shtick, wasn't it? Trying to be a babyface, but it didn't work whatsoever.
He used to be able to do it so well when he was a young man. I feel so bad. It made me feel old, this segment, right? It made me feel really old.
We all felt old watching Jericho.
The first Jericho I remember was like popular heartthrob babyface Jericho in the Attitude Era. After he made his debut when he was now a babyface. And he just can't really, he's too much of a heel now, he can't really do it anymore.
But shout outs to Santana Ortiz, picked up the slack.
Yeah, they were good.
And made it sound a bit more credible than just, you guys
I flushed it down. You were in the toilet.
You've got poo in your hair. Ooh. Yeah, great.
I gave him a swirly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me, do you remember when Jericho came back and he was cutting that, what was it, like Rooty Tooty promo?
Yes.
It reminded me of that, because that was, they can say what they like, but that was Jericho trying to be a proper babyface there. That wasn't hitting at a heel turn. And then they saw that didn't get over whatsoever, and then it turned him heel off the back of that. That just felt like that, but happening again. But they can't turn him heel now because he's already been a heel. Oh, sir.
I think it might not be too long before he's turned heel again out of necessity.
Like Dennis Norden, I'm sure he'll be all right on the night. Hikaru Shida retains the title against Tay Conti in a very competitive match, and I was ready for Tay Conti to win the title. Hikaru Shida, she's good and everything, but it's like, all right, we have something different now. And Tay Conti's had that fiery streak last few weeks going, oh wow, she's way better than I remember her being. This is great. And then she didn't quite win, but looked all right in defeat. And then Britt Baker comes out afterwards, is like, I'm the number one contender. And I'm like,
No, that's all right. That's fine, because Britt will beat Hikaru, I'm guessing. And then Tay
I don't
Conti
think she will.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Oh, this narrative now that Cheetah wants to hold the title until crowds are back. I reckon that's what they'll do, and then when crowds are eventually back, the first one back, that'll be the one where she loses. But I do appreciate Cheetah's wrestling prowess and all that stuff, and she has good matches. But I can't find myself getting invested in her because there's no. I need a character. Give me Maki Ito, people like that, proper like bona fide characters rather than just good wrestlers. Everyone's a good wrestler these days, apart from Jackson Ryder.
And they stand out so well. He's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Well done. QT Marshall faces Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunfat's on
AEW
Twitter.
Dark. And wins after interference from Anti Agogo, who is legally blind. They looked to beat down Billy afterwards, but Dustin
What
Rhodes...
are you throwing that in there for?
Because I didn't know. I thought it was a fun fact. But Dustin Rhodes runs out to make the save. And would you believe it? Would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? A Rhodes smashed a wooden chair over someone's head. It has to happen every 20 years, all right? Or your money back.
Didn't work, though.
No, that's right. I can't believe one time, because in 2041, it'll happen, and it'll actually be effective. But this time, the same way it happened to Big Bubba Rogers, same way it happened to Meng, Nick Comoroto shook it off.
Isn't it mad to think that Cody's Ben will be 19 or 20 in 2041?
Yeah, Cody's daughter could do that in 20 years.
Yeah, she'll be the one smashing the wooden chair.
Over an old Tay Conti with a walking stick.
I'm like, yeah, lad, Ross, I'm sick of Tay Conti, me. I got her over 20 years ago.
Can you imagine we're actually still sat here in 20 years doing Cultaholic?
Oh, God.
I'll give it 2 years tops. I can't.
And the references are exactly the same. Do you remember Robot Wars? Before the word robot running everything.
It's all been banned now. It's offensive to the robot.
That's right. The robots are like, get that sick filth. You have to do a disclaimer every time they show it, going, look, this was made during the time before robots were allowed.
I'm scared of the future. Things are all right now. I don't want better technology.
Things are terrible now.
Yeah,
Even more terrible.
In the world, yeah.
The Elite. Speaking of terrible, look at this segue. The Elite could have promo in the private trailer. And they talk about how great they are and how big they are. And I think we missed this out last week, but I'm not sure. But I'll say it again. I have to find the tweet, but someone broke down how the Young Bucks had fake sneakers on. But the fake sneakers must have cost them a few grand as well. The way that they get them. So I just felt like sharing that. Did a promo. They're all evil and rotten. And like I said before, the Young Bucks are bad guys because they're saying exactly the same stuff they said when they were good guys.
Yeah.
We built this company on the back of our super kicks and ironic posting and blah, blah, blah. And then Moxie and Kingston rammed their trailer with a big truck and head inside armed with pipes. And then the Elite run away, but then did they run away? I thought they got the trailer.
The door was open.
Yeah,
you could just in the background. It was confused. I had to go back and watch it a second time, but you can see there's a door open where they must have escaped. So it was very, very. They had a 10-second window maybe to get out, and they sort of vanished. Because I always think they must have disappeared into the void where Shaq is. But no,
Alex appears and goes, "Quick, guys, hold my hand."
It was very WCW, I found. Or very 2002 with Hogan and The Rock, but less dramatic.
We need more. It made me just... I was looking at Matt and Nick with their flamboyant clothes on, and I was thinking, we need more people like The Rock in wrestling. We need less nerds at the top of the card and more...
Ross is finally... turned it into...
Like, I want wrestling to be cool again, and like... I just want less nerds at the top of the card.
It's
going
so
like, ha, this will be funny if I put these funny clothes on. Make me feel inadequate. I want, when I'm watching Roman Reigns, I'm thinking I will never be like you, Roman Reigns. You are everything I am not. Make me feel worthless. But I'm watching the Young Bucks and their stupid little clothes, their stupid little hats. I'm thinking, oh, I could do that. This will be funny. We need less of that. Less of that. More cool people in wrestling. That's what we need. For goodness sake, man.
Matthew, this is what happens. This is what happens when someone who's primarily like a football lad and stuff has to talk about wrestling for 5 years, and he finally explodes. He's like, nerds, no.
But it's it's too much. Too much, I tell thee. Too much.
But you are
that
right
was
to
the-
an extent there, Ross.
That was class. That was like
That was a beautiful
That was like
soliloquy,
hard
by the way.
times. That was amazing.
That's like hard times. Even better than Foley's rendition of it.
No more nerds in wrestling.
Yeah, but you are right. The Elite are a bunch of evil nerds, and that's all right when it's Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, because like, all right, they're the nerds, and then they have
Good
more
Brothers
people
aren't
join.
nerds. They're cool.
No, they are. If
But they're
cool,
joining in. They're joining in with it as well. It's like they like to drink beers and whatnot, but they're now nerds as well.
Yeah, I guess so.
Get Ricky Starks up the top. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. And
Yeah.
Hook. Yeah.
Yes, Ross.
War pal Hook.
I thought you would turn in the corner and you were going to be like, we just want to see JD Drake versus some other big lad in
No,
the main event
absolutely not.
slapping me.
I just want to see less nerds going like backstage, clearly going, oh, this will be funny if I put this funny hat on.
I'd love to see Ross at a PWG event, which is exclusively like inside references and nerd jokes.
Yeah. No, this is one of the criticisms of AEW right now, that they've got all this gang warfare stuff going on. All right, but what is the top of the card right now? It's this. And the nerds versus Moxley and
At least
Kingston.
Moxley and Kingston aren't nerds.
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. So you're pro Moxley and Kingston then, Ross?
Way I, all day
There we
long.
go.
Just reminded me of, I won't mention who it was, but someone who works for Cultaholic once shared a picture in the group chat of the Undisputed Era all in the ring, all dressed in black t-shirts and black jeans, and put, they look like four fans at a meet and greet.
That wasn't me, by the way, before.
That
the
wasn't
comments
right. It
came.
wasn't anyone on camera.
Christian Cage gets another hard-fought win. This time over Powerhouse Hobbs.
Two cool lads in the wrestling.
Two cool, one cool lad, one kind of like, Clint Eastwood type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Powerhouse
was-
Hobbs should have won.
I'm sad. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't mind Christian winning, but the roster's big enough. They could have found someone else who would still make Christian look good by beating him. But I wish it wasn't Powerhouse Hobbs.
I hope it's turned into a storyline, because obviously Hobbs was showboating towards the end of the match, and that's what cost him in the end against the wily old fox.
True.
But I thought Powerhouse, he clobbered him in the back of the head near the start of the match, and I was thinking, you didn't mean to hit him that hard, surely. Not Christian in the back of the head. Wow, take that one. But he did look good up until the end, but hopefully the inexperienced things turn into a bit of a, sees him snap or something like that.
He's a bit of a snack, like. The main event sees Jungle Boy challenge Darby Allin for the TNT title.
Cool lads or nerds?
Wait, here we go. Luchasaurus, everyone else has made the same joke, but I've got to say it. Luchasaurus and Sting get into a brawl on the outside. The Battle of the Dinosaurs.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Darby gets the win, but is eaten down by... Shut up, phone. Darby Allin does a thing. I'll put this on silent. Now I'm an old man. There we go.
Darby gets the win.
He does indeed.
And then what happens, Matthew?
He's beaten down by Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, who have been watching every week going,
Cool lads.
I would say they're closer
They're
to
cool.
cool than nerds, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ethan Page wasn't wearing socks. So
That's cool.
that tells you all you need to know. I wouldn't dare rock an ankle out in public. Hey.
Shocking that.
Like it's the 1700.
You have to wait for that one, boys. But yeah, why couldn't Luchasaurus beat up Sting? That's what I want to know. That's my main takeaway from that segment. Why couldn't he
Sting's
just
such
throw
a
him?
nerd. Why couldn't the dinosaur batter it? No, that is
There's
true. Sting's like kayfabe, the strongest guy in AEW. Everyone's terrified of him.
He didn't even have his COVID-laced bat to scare them off. 'Cause that's my theory, that Sting just dips his bat in some COVID and then goes, ha ha ha. That's why everyone
Ross
gets
is
it. It's like, no,
He's
stop.
got some of those old people things. He's like, I'll give you typhoid.
At the minute, Ross, right, has been on such good form the past sort of quarter of an hour.
Yeah.
It's like when a footballer's got 3 goals already and you think they're not going to score a 4th. And then they do, you're like, what?
Yeah,
It's mad.
yes.
Ross is on absolute form at the moment.
He's on a hat trick, but it's a cool hat, not a stupid hat like those nerds at AEW.
A nerd.
I've just got a
A
strong
nerd hat.
a strong disdain for the Young Bucks, all right, lads. That's all I've got.
Yeah, it's
Just
fine.
don't like them.
For anybody listening who obviously identifies as a nerd, as many of us do, Ross isn't saying that we shouldn't be watching and enjoying wrestling. He's saying the wrestlers shouldn't be.
Can I just
They should
point
be
out
cooler.
that I've been commenting on wrestling for the past 5 years of my life. For 6 years of my life, I am a nerd. How can you sit here and talk about wrestling and not be a nerd?
You want the wrestlers to
remember
be
the aura
above.
the aura
Yeah.
that people like the Rock had and stuff.
Austin.
That's gone at the main event
Kane.
level by and large. Yeah, let's
The only nerd back then was Kurt Angle, and it worked because he was doing it on purpose.
exactly. And I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about people who aren't wrestling fans watching the wrestling, looking at the people like the Young Bucks and going, "Oh, well, I'm not going to watch this." I don't know that might be what they're trying to do, but it's just yeah. I probably open a can of worms myself there, but I'll fight you all at the beaches. I don't know where that came from either.
Wait from Wade Barrett's garage door. Yeah.
But that match at the end was good, I thought. The Jungle Boy looked like it was Darby. He looked like he decapitated himself with that crucifix bomb thingy. But he didn't do, as all the wrestlers have pointed out. He took that bump safely.
Yeah.
We haven't
Oh,
taken
you mean
bumps.
the AJW
Like the leg
thing?
scissors thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Ollie-
So there's a lot of good stuff on AW, but I'm at the point now, I'm like, okay, cool, they're in the blood and guts, and there's a lot of gang warfare going on, blah, blah, blah. But with the Tay Conti thing and the Jungle Boy thing and Ricky Starks thing, yeah, like, cool. Are they going to have any of these people, like, move up to the next level? Or are the nerds keeping the cool guys down?
It's a tale as old as time. I think that they're just taking it slow, but I think that over the next 2 years, maybe we'll see people like MJF's already up there, Jungle Boy, who are the Ricky Starks, like all these young in the women's division. To be fair, it's already kind of happening with like Tay Conti and stuff. But I think they're just taking it a bit slowly. Hopefully the nerds don't keep them down. Imagine if they just become like Triple H. It'd be so funny.
Revenge of the Nerds. Anyway, thank you for watching that segment, and thank you for the £5, Tony Khan. That was
Not after that. Not after that. Not after that. It's gone next week.
Let's have a rummage in our mail bags.
Let's have a little look in the mailbag. Number 1. Hi, lads. I've followed all your adventures since the Name Redacted days, and I've been a Cultaholic fan since day one.
Thank you.
I write about wrestling for a French sports website, and you guys have been a huge influence on me doing so.
Oh.
As a humble thank you for all the joy you've brought me over the years, I recently decided that I'd give back to you by joining Cultaholic on Patreon. Yes.
Thank you very much.
What's the address, Matthew?
I don't know, let's ask this guy. Max says it's from patreon.com/Cultaholic.
Well, thank you very much for joining, and
Yeah,
thank
thank
you for all your kind words.
Here's my question. Is there any wrestler you like more than their more successful, or more popular tag team partner? My favourite wrestler ever is Christian, who despite having an amazing career, isn't as popular as Edge. Also, when I first started watching wrestling in early 2009, all my classmates were massive Jeff Hardy fans, but I've always preferred Matt, and I was delighted to watch him defeat his brother at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania 25, which wasn't the 25th anniversary. Damn, anyway. I'm glad the UK is slowly starting to recover from all the successive lockdowns. I was going to say, well, that must be sarcasm there. God. Some government decisions in France have been understandable, but incredibly frustrating compared to how other countries, including yours, have dealt with the situation lately. Lots of love, Max from France.
Thank you very much, Max. Cheers.
Yes. Merci beaucoup.
So the question is, do we prefer any of the Jannettis of the world?
Yeah.
Yes. Mine is Matt Hardy, which is an example he gave already. But back in the... Not even when they both became solo, like single stars, I preferred Matt during the Hardy Boys era because I'd go around at my mate's house. I think I might have told this already, but I'd go around at my mate's house to play SmackDown 2 because it was his house, I was player 2. And he always chose Jeff. And I remember being like... Because we'd always be the Hardy Boys because they were cool and we were kids. And I remember being like, can I be Jeff one time? And he was like, no, you don't know how to get up on the top rope to do the Swanton Bomb. And I was like, yeah, well, just tell me the buttons. And he was like, it's too complicated. I believed him because he was a year older than me. So I always had to be Matt. But then that made me like Matt more. So mine's Matt Hardy. Anyone else?
Ross.
Yeah, I guess it counts, but it's a bit of a weird one. Kane in The Brothers of Destruction.
Okay.
And on top of that, who was I going to say? I don't know if this one counts either, but ever since day one-ish, when the New Day started becoming popular, Big E's been my guy. And I've always just assumed that Kofi, if we're going to do a pecking order of the New Day, by and large, the masses would go Kofi, then Big E, then Xavier. Is that right on the podcast? I don't know.
In terms of title victories, yeah.
Kofi's definitely top for me, but the other two fluctuate.
Aye, but Big E's been my guy in that one ever since day one.
I say in 2021, I've got Big E above them because, well, until the Apollo Crews feud kicked in, but yeah, it could still happen.
That's
but my
fair,
pick is Bull Buchanan.
Oh,
Either
yes!
of his tag team with Big Boss Man, or when he was in Right to Censor with The Good Father.
That's the best
Or
shout.
Venus.
WrestleMania 2000 show stealer Bull Buchanan.
Yeah, as
Top
the Cornet
rope.
quote goes, Bull Buchanan stole the show at WrestleMania 2000, but judging by the rest of the matches, it was petty theft at best.
He's an unbelievable... I think we're all fans of Bull Buchanan on this podcast.
We are, and now me and Tom watch the Call It Classic SmackDown review, and we see the step-by-step evolution of him going from, he's a Big Boss Man's replacement for Prince Albert, then he joins Triple H's gang because they need a guy, then he's Right to Censor, and yeah, he's actually all right in the mic as well, the two times
he?
he's allowed to speak.
I've
He's
never
not Right to
heard
Censor
him.
going like, I can't let my children watch the violence and disgusting
Southern?
nature. Yeah, I had
did
no
not
idea
know
either until he
this.
started speaking. So.
I had no idea about this, about Bull. I've never heard him talk.
Southern African, remember?
Was that with Callis?
Yeah,
Which one was he? Was he Sniper or something?
yeah. He was one of the
Retcon.
he was one of the rejected Retribution names.
Yeah, they were very Retribution names, weren't they?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah,
And
Bull
he was-
Buchanan.
He was B squared as well.
Yes, he was.
Not
Which
as good.
response, of course, is when you hear B2 is "You sunk my battleship." Number 2. Hi guys, hope you're all well. My question is to you all: what is your personal Mount Rushmore of wrestling? My Mount Rushmore of wrestling includes John Cena. This is the guy I loved watching growing up. He has provided me with some of my favourite feuds ever in wrestling, such as HBK, The Rock, CM Punk, AJ Styles. In an era where wrestling wasn't as cool, to be as big as he was and to fill the shoes of the likes of Austin Rock showed how great he truly was. Fair enough. CM Punk. Before seeing CM Punk, I was a standard WWE guy with little interest in anything outside of WWE. This was until the Second City Saint appeared on the scene in 05-06 as part of the ECW brand. However, it wasn't until he worked with Cena that I fell in love with Punk and realised that there's a great world that exists outside of WWE. Daniel Bryan. He is the greatest wrestler I have ever seen along with Okada, but Bryan specifically introduced me to technical wrestling, and since then I have not looked back. Seeing how good Bryan was in WWE forced me to look at his work before WWE. I began to watch Ring of Honor and came across iconic feuds against the likes of Nigel McGuinness. Chris Jericho. Jericho is one of my favourites of all time and rounds up my Mount Rushmore because of how much I've loved his gimmicks. From serious and sophisticated suit Jericho, to list Jericho, to Painmaker Jericho, to Le Champion Jericho. There's my Liverpudlian accent again. He was an aura and presence, which I just don't see in anyone else in wrestling today. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you have a good day. Ramzan from Peterborough.
Thank
very
you,
much,
and
Ramzan.
well written as well.
Yeah.
Very good reasons given.
Yeah.
Very well justified. A lot of nerds on that Mount Rushmore.
A lot of nerds there, right? Yeah, God.
Is CM Punk a nerd or cool? Is he the middle of the Venn diagram?
Oh, I
The
think he's
nerds-
right slap in the middle.
The nerds love him. He's like king of the nerds, but he's not one himself. I don't know.
I'd say, I know he does the comic books and whatnot, but I would say, no, he's not a nerd.
I mean, just in terms of his character, in terms of because sometimes it was. I think the crucial difference is when you're a nerd and you're beating people and winning, then you're not really a nerd.
Yeah.
But then you
Mount-
face Triple H and then he was a nerd again. So who have you got, Jack?
Rushmores. It's hard, isn't it? It's our personal Mount Rushmores. It's not like when you've got to do when you've got to say Sammartino, Hogan. Like it's our personal one.
Your Mount Rushmore.
All right. Well, I have 4 favourite wrestlers. Since watching a lot of wrestling for this job and stuff, I have realised that 4 wrestlers are the best ones. So here they are then. Austin, Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and I've forgotten my 4th one, lads. I've forgotten who my 4th one is. So Austin, Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and... who was it? I can't believe I've done this. Can't remember who it is. Austin, Angle, Eddie... Can someone else do one? It'll come to me, and I'll be...
Bless you.
Oh, Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels. Of course. But that's obviously, they're all a similar era. They're all, you know. So I don't know if it's... Because nowadays, for more modern ones, you've got to put Becky Lynch on there for what she's done. So it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a weird one. But just in terms of as a kid and why I enjoyed and stuff, Angle Austin, Eddie and Sean for me.
Yeah. What about yourself, Ross?
I'm going to go the route of, like, you know, the spirit of the Mount Rushmore. Not who because my personal Mount Rushmore would be an absolute mess, an absolute joke.
I want to guess your Kane,
Aye.
Yeah.
Rusev.
Oh, mate, I don't know now with Miro. Miro sort of tarnished that now.
Tamina.
Biggie.
Oh,
Tamina, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are we still guessing?
JBL.
Yeah.
No.
Go on.
I guess in terms of that one, Kevin Owens would be on there for sure. I identify with Kevin Owens. I don't know why. Probably the big belly. And
Not a nerd.
Yeah.
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 The natural talent.
I like to make it clear once again. I am a nerd. I'm fully aware of that. I want the wrestlers not to
It's
be as
different
nerdish.
kinds of nerds. You're not not
Yeah.
your classic Dungeons and Dragons nerd. You're not that.
D&D.
Wrestling nerd.
Yeah, I'm one of them. But I'm going to go in terms of like influential on the business of professional wrestling.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Vinnie Mac because how could he not be there? I'm going to go Terrence Bollea because even though I don't like him, how can he not be there? I'm going to go Stone Cold Steve Austin because, once again, how can he not be there? And Final Lamont, I am going to go for AJ Lee, the unsung hero in the Women's Revolution.
Oh,
If she doesn't pipe up, none of it happens.
It's very true.
Wow, that was beautiful.
And she gets so forgotten in that as well.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna go with just because I'm picking people that I like, and that's it. That's what we've got to do, isn't it? Mick Foley, personal favorite of all time.
Is
From
he?
comedy to serious.
I never knew. I thought your favourite of all time was Brett. Is it close?
Oh, shut up.
Pachise is Foley. That's his favourite wrestler of all time.
Oh no! Don't ruin it. He like corporate Foley. Yeah, just again the complete package. Bret Hart. I try and not say Bret Hart, but who am I kidding? Bret Hart make everyone look great when he could be bothered, and he's still miserable and cynical to this day, and I love him for it. Again, the only person to say anything negative about Yokozuna on the documentary about Yokozuna, Viva La Bret. Volta.
Oh,
Because of obvious reasons, just represent that lovely spirit of European wrestling before it all died horribly and burned down. Yeah, Volta, thank you very much for keeping me excited. I'm now going to pick a fourth. Someone who's currently gone, who isn't Walter. It makes me want to watch WETV every week.
I can think of.
Oh no, you know what? No, screw that. Taz.
Okay.
Taz again like Foley, from being serious Taz, beat me if you can. The mood is going to change. To comedy Taz, to manager Taz. Oh, love him.
That's good. That's a good solid Mount Rushmore there.
Hook Senior, as they'll call him in a few years' time. Number 3. Hello, guys. First off, you guys are my favourite part of my Fridays, with your wrestling analysis, as well as your always entertaining and random discussions on topics that go right over my head sometimes. Well, you'll love this week's episode.
Yeah.
Rest assured, I still love it all. Thank you for years of fun and amusement. Regarding my question, I had just watched Jack's video on the true story of the Hardcore Championship, and I discovered that I shared the exact birth date as the Hardcore Champion. My question is, do any of you have a birthday where a significant moment in wrestling has occurred? If not, were there any significant moments, I should say, in wrestling history that occurred the same year you were born? Thank you, Yaz from New York City.
Thank you very much, Yaz.
If you two need to Google, I'll hop in there straight away because on the 2nd of August, 1992, when I popped out of my mother's womb, Ron Simmons won the world title from Vader.
Wow, that's a big
one.
We need Jen here on this day in wrestling, don't we?
Oh, we need to say that as well. I don't know if anyone saw that in the chat last night. I put X-Pac. He's I've picked up a banana to emphasise my point.
Yeah, wow. Don't put that on me.
He's debuted a segment on his podcast called This Week in Wrestling. And he goes, yeah, I came up with that. And now, obviously, I'm not going to suggest that Sean Waltman watches this podcast, but I don't want to say we've cornered the market on This Week in Wrestling. But he might have seen it and then ripped it off. Who knows?
I need to first give a quick shout out to Justin Henry because he wrote that video that what was the person called? Sorry, who wrote in?
Yaz.
Yeah, that Yaz mentioned. Justin Henry wrote that, and he does a really good job on those scripts. Makes me sound very clever. There's been nothing on the year that I was born on my birthday, but on other years, on October the 1st, we've got TNA Impact debuting on Spike, the beginning of the war on my birthday. That's a good one. I like that. So yes.
Yeah, I was looking through Cage Match. Yeah, in WF on the Madison Square Garden Network. Rick Rude defeated Paul Orndorff. The Glamour Girls defeated the Jumping Bomb Angels. Mm-hmm. That would have been good.
What a bad booking decision.
Strike Force defeated the Hart Foundation. Yay, Brett. And in the main event, Bam Bam Bigelow defeated King Kong Bundy.
Bret Hart lost a wrestling match on the day you were born.
It was all downhill from there, wasn't it? Imagine what had happened if they won. So yeah, lots of non-events there.
Matthew's like 7 foot tall. Just like, you know when Homer's made of gold in The Simpsons? Yeah.
So Matthew, do you watch wrestling? No, it's for nerds. Ugh, get away from me. So those were all the fantastic questions received this week in the mailbag. If you have any or think you can do better than that, then put your mouth where your wallet is by going to mailbag@cultaholic.com.
You don't need to pay to do that. You can just send in emails.
I know. You know what? My brain did that thing where you got to say something, Matthew. Just say whatever. Say anything. Don't think about it. Put your wallet where your mouth is.
Where your wallet where your mouth is.
Doesn't make any sense. Reese's Pieces, the segment's so good, they named a snack after it. Oh, hoy hoy, lads. After last week's episode, having no Reese's Pieces, damn it, we didn't think I would notice. I thought it would be crazy to go back to a wrestling-related edition of this segment. And it says, what a crazy man I am, I know. Mate. But after recently watching back Shawn Michaels vs. The Undertaker from WrestleMania 25 and 26, I figured a Reese's Pieces on wrestlers who aren't really alike, who aren't really compared to each other usually, would be fun. So strap yourselves in. This is not your ordinary Bret or Shawn or Cena or Orton type of deal. The criteria would be in-ring work, influence on the industry, promos, or the cooler attire, whatever you want.
Who's less of a
nerd?
We'll go
Who's
Ross.
less of a young buck?
Yeah, yes, exactly. We'll go Ross, Jack, Mafu. Number 1, Jericho or Triple H?
Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H, childhood, and that favourite.
Begrudgingly Triple H. Steve Austin or Mr. McMahon, the character?
Mr. McMahon, the character.
Yeah.
Steve Austin.
Vinnie Mac.
I love Vinnie Mac, the character.
Life sucks and then you die. Everyone's favourite, Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior? It says I had to include one lose-lose situation.
I guess Terry's done more, hasn't he?
Yeah, Hogan was better than Warrior.
Yeah, Hogan at least said hello to sick kids. Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker?
Taker.
Michaels.
Undertaker, because The Undertaker didn't screw Bret Hart at Survivor Series for no good reason. Mick Foley / Mankind or Harley Race? Oh, okay.
Whoa, this is just me showing my age, I think. Mick Foley for me. But I fully understand if you say Harley Race.
I'm the same Foley. I've not really seen enough Harley Race to choose him. And it's Mick Foley.
I'm sure if they did podcasts in 83, they'd be saying Harley Race, but no, I'm saying Mick Foley. Sorry, Harley.
Do you remember Pacitti said one of his favourite wrestlers was Luther?
So good.
I like George Hackenschmidt.
The original Sheik. Wrestling has never been better than when he was around.
In Pacitti's defence, he thought he had to put he thought it was more of like an objective thing rather than your own personal opinion. So it wasn't his actual, but it was just funny seeing Pacitti, big fan of Luther.
I watched him as a young lad.
Yeah.
The Rock or Ric Flair?
Flair.
I'll go for The Rock, but I imagine if I was 10 years older, I'd go for Ric Flair all day.
I'm picking Flair,
Okay.
but it's tough. But in fairness, The Rock started with $7 in his wallet, and Ric Flair currently only has $7 in his bank account. Roman Reigns or a table?
Well, I guess the tables had more influence on the industry, surely.
Yeah, got it in a weird way. I'm going for the... And Roman doesn't deserve this, but I'm going for the table. Because more moments have been made in wrestling that I remember involving tables than Roman Reigns. That's a sad thing.
Well, KSI never said, I am the Roman Reigns, so I'll go with table. Oh, here we go. Ross is revving up for this one. The Young Bucks or the Legion of Doom?
The very opposite.
I'll go for the Legion of Doom here. Even though I never witnessed a Road Warrior pop in person, obviously. I've heard a lot about them, so I'll go for that one.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna go for the Young Bucks. I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone. I know. I thought Matthew was genuinely going to say, have you not been on this podcast for the past 2 hours? No, I'm going for the Bucks, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, look at me saying all this about the Young Bucks now, and I love them in PWG, but them or Legion of Doom. I'll say Legion of Doom because one of the first things I remember seeing about wrestling was my neighbour having a Legion of Doom shirt. These guys with red pads and things coming out of them. That made me want to watch wrestling. But if I saw the Young Bucks as a kid, I'd be like, all right.
In Rise once on Halloween, there was 2 big lads dressed as the Road Warriors, and I asked them for a picture of them pretending to beat me up because I was the jobber, and it was pretty good. Pretty good crack, that. They were huge lads, those Road Warriors, actually. Fair play to them for dressing as them.
I mean, you'd have to be really to be a Road Warrior.
Yeah, me and you couldn't be the Road Warriors. No. We'd have to be the Young Bucks.
You'd be the pavement.
Yes.
The pavement straddlers.
We'd get called that anyway. We'd be the meals they'd eat before the match.
Yeah.
Max Moon or Bastion Booger?
Oh.
Max Moon.
Yeah, Max Moon as well.
I'll say Max Moon just because the amount of times Powerslam magazine on a slow month had to respond in their mailbag, who was Max Moon? Bret Hart or Randy Savage?
Bret.
Oh, Bret. Just. I love Randall, though. I love Randall Sav.
Look down.
What's happened?
Your T-shirt.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you were talking about the notifications that I was getting Slack messages in. Oh, yeah, I am wearing it, but that's the closest one so far, but it's Bret just for me.
Burn your shirt. Bret Hart, obviously. Goldberg or Ryback? It says very obvious, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goldberg.
Goldberg, but I'll say this again every time Ryback gets brought up. God, he should have won when he fought CM Punk in Hell in a Cell. This close. But not that matters now. Did I see on Twitter he was saying, where should I wrestle? And one of the options on Twitter was retire. And I mean, you're just putting cheese out for the rat at that point, really. So obviously everyone voted retire and he wasn't very happy.
He must have known that was going to happen.
Obviously not, because he was fuming. After
Was he?
Fumming.
God.
Randy Orton or Hangman Page?
It's a weird one. I'll go for Orton at the moment.
I'll go for Hangman at the moment.
When we're sat here in 2041, who knows?
I'm really, really enjoying Hangman. So, and even though Randy's done more stuff, I'm gonna say that I've never been as invested in him as I have in Hangman. So I'll go for Hangman.
Yeah, what Jack said. But it's funny, Randy Orton took on Matt Riddle. I haven't seen Matt Riddle in real life, and you go, God, he's massive, just ripped and everything. And then he just showed up next to Randy Orton, and you're like, oh. Yeah, you forget Randy Orton is a big, big lad.
He's a big lad. Yeah. And
the big lad.
So handsome. Oh, I hate him.
I was watching, the WWE uploaded something on the YouTube channel from 2009, I think it was, a tag team match, which had Randy and JBL and somebody else, and Randy walks out with the championship, and back in 2009, when he's completely and utterly shredded, goodness me. That's what I'm talking about. Less
He's not a
nerds.
nerd. He's not a nerd.
Randy Orton in the queue with Roman Reigns. That's what I want in my main event scene. Not the Young Bucks and their stupid outfits. Randy Orton making me feel inadequate.
Do you know what? I think I may have told this one before, but have I told the story about the Young Bucks calling a match backstage at WCPW? It's like a
Tell it again.
big 8-man tag match, and the Bucks are like calling it because they're the most experienced lads and stuff, and they're calling the match like, and then we hit you with this, and then we hit you with that, and it's like, suck it, and it's like, too sweet, bro, and they're just going through it at 100 miles an hour, and you've just got like half the ICW roster just like, hey, right, pal, great. That's like, oh, this is awkward. Because if it wasn't in a wrestling context, these hard Scottish lads would absolutely hate these enthusiastic Americans.
Right.
That sums it up, really.
I've heard the story as well that I think Kevin Owens talked about it more. There's high spots things where you talk about the Young Bucks backstage for PWG shows. We're calling, then we'll do this, then we'll do the do the double super kick, and then do that, then we'll do a double down because the crowd will be chanting, "This is awesome." So we can break that. They knew the crowd that much. They're like, right. They'll be chanting, "This is awesome" at that point.
They were right though as well. The Young Bucks did that at ours, and that is what happened. I remember thinking, I'm going to see, and it was true.
Yeah.
That was the Bullet Club featuring Gabriel Kidd. What a night that was. Yeah.
Now he's over there in New Japan.
He's all shaven-headed and scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a nerd.
Not a nerd.
No, nerd, yeah.
That's his gimmick. He comes out and goes, "I'm not a nerd," and they don't understand.
That's like Bad News Barrett levels of gimmick. That oh, I'm not a nerd.
Gabriel, not a nerd kid.
Yeah.
Papa Shango or Willow the Wisp.
Oh my word.
Oh, Papa Shango.
Papa Shango.
Love me some Papa Shango. X-Pac or Charlotte Flair, the battle of the go-away heat seekers.
Oh, well, I feel that more when I see Charlotte on my screen these days, and I ever do X-Pac, so I'll go with Charlotte. Or would I go for X-Pac in that one? Whichever one's the right answer in terms of what I just said before there. Yeah.
I'm going to say I don't know what the answer is, but I prefer X-Pac, especially after him being nice to Bailey at WrestleMania. He went against the script. When when Kevin Nash was like, "No high five for you," and X-Pac was like, "No, I genuinely really like you." I was like, "Yes, X-Pac."
X-Pac doesn't care now on WTV. It's amazing.
Yeah.
As he did that, he name dropped China at the Hall of Fame, and then at the Hell in a Cell live reaction, he was like, "What was that, man? I don't care if I never get invited back here again. Well, a DQ in Hell in a Cell."
Who would have thought that out of all the Attitude Era and all the, presumably very dodgy stuff that was going on around then, who would have thought that X-Pac would have emerged as quite a wholesome guy, actually? Quite like him.
It's nice when you get proper retribution, isn't it? Retribution's the wrong word. No,
X-Pac's joined. Breaking news.
Oh no, here comes the new guy, Handbrake, or whatever the name they give him. But yeah, no, it's great to see him. And his dog is mint as well. Yeah, so Charlotte Flair for the winner of the whatever. Kane or Razor Ramon?
Okay, Kane all day long.
Yeah, Kane as well. But again, like the Flair Rock one, if I was 10 years older, then yeah.
Kane's done so much and provided so much in an insane run in WWE. Razor Ramon was one of the hottest acts in 94 to 95, 96, and he just got used to put everybody else over. It's so weird.
Is he the ultimate answer to the question who was the one person never to win the WWE title who should have won it?
But could have. Yeah, him and Ryback.
Ryback.
No, I'd say so because, again, you watch those in your houses and everything else that's on the network or Peacock. Sorry, Americans. And you go and watch it and hear how over he is. And it's like, okay, cool. Oh, here he is losing to King Mabel. Here he is losing to this dude. And you're like, okay. So
who are the other ones that people mentioned? Piper. DiBiase.
Perfect.
I don't think Piper needed it, but yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
But it would be nice to look back and say that Roddy Piper was once WWF champion.
Yeah, that's true. Kevin Nash or Seth Rollins?
Big sexy.
Seth Rollins. I'm going for Seth. He was my guy in 2015. He was my favorite wrestler.
Kevin Nash. Even if he didn't accomplish anything in wrestling, which he did, all the stuff he's done outside of wrestling, all the shoot interviews, the discussions, and him being a 7 foot hard guy, talking about how cool he is.
He's not a nerd.
He is definitely not. He's one of these people that would agree with Ross because you said wrestling got ruined when they started bringing in guys to write for the wrestlers, and the wrestlers that are supposed to come out and talk about how great they are and how hard they are and how many women they've got by people who can't fight and have never had a woman in their life.
So they've never had a fight or banged a hot chick.
Yeah.
I'm not looking myself in with that. That's
No.
That's not where I'm coming from with it. For goodness sake.
But that was just Kevin. Kevin Nash is woke now. He's woke Kevin Nash.
He's woke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good on. He's great on Twitter. Anyway, I'd love to get your takes on these pairings. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. Anyways, thank you for helping me and others to get through our day-to-day lives during lockdown or and there's a big, long German word. Ausgang beschrachen. It's AUSGANGSBESCH.
I'm just saying letters now.
A with the I thought maybe Jack would go, oh, I know that word.
If
but
if I can find it, I'll give it a crack. I'll have a crack at it, as Lindsay Lohan says in the Parent Trap before the fencing match. I'm stalling while I find the.
You're bringing up the Parent Trap.
Yeah.
Ausgangsgesbekrachen.
Okay.
That translate as well.
I've
What insult
found-
are we saying unintentionally
got
to
it.
people?
Ausgangsbeschränkung. Ausgangsbeschränkung is my best guess.
Oh, it's a curfew,
Ausgangsbeschränkung's a curfew.
according to Google.
Why don't they have a shorter word for that, the Germans? Hey.
I saw a TikTok the other day of a fella translating ambulance into different languages, and like French it was like ambulance, and then Spanish it was like ambulance or something like that, and then German, I forget what the German word for ambulance is, but it was brutal. German word for ambulance. Krakenwagen.
That's great, that actually. What did someone tell me? And if someone from Germany can confirm this by going to the mailbag, that'd be great. That The Undertaker had a hard time getting over in Germany because the literal translation of it was like the office man or the worker. That's what they use as the term. Now, I don't know if someone was pulling my leg there or not, but like, so it's
It
like.
might be. As in, like, he undertakes tasks in the office.
Maybe that's how it worked over there, like, rather than, funeral dude that they were going for. But instead it's just, office man, he's working hard, he's doing a great undertaking.
The intern. The job's body.
The intern. That's the thing that Paul Bearer carries. Oh, nice. Anyway,
Lads, this podcast's been one of the top ones recently. Like we've
I'd
been
say so.
we've been doing well.
And here we go. Keep up the great work and don't forget how important you and your commitment to this crazy industry of professional wrestling is to many people all over the globe. Be safe and stay sane. Kevin from Germany.
Thank you, Kevin.
Dankeschön, Kevin. Aw, what a lovely, lovely Reese's Pieces. And if you have any lovely, lovely Reese's Pieces to send, no matter what language, please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com.
It's Cultaholics.
What a big, long, productive, now that certain people on the show don't have the other shows to do, and bringing all that love on this podcast episode of the podcast we've had this week. And it's just time for a little bit more. And that is the big question, which this week is the hard-hitting question we're all wondering about, and that is, who is the coolest WWE wrestler of all time?
Not a nerd.
Oh, that barrel down there that was scraping.
No, that's the top, the cream of the crop, if you will, Ross. Because if anyone knows about cool people, it's us, the three lads from Cultaholic. So,
Yeah, I know about being cool.
I've seen you at Rise, pal. That's what they say. They go, the only thing cooler than being cool is Jack the Jobber. It's great.
Do you know how? Do you know how intimidating it is when actual cool people come into Rise and everyone's like, "Ah, it's awful."
No, I'm hanging out with my mates and that happens sometimes. It's like, because you see, like, everyone turns and everyone notices we're genuinely cool. People's like,
Oh no, there's some lads over there. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
no.
not good.
dude, we have to go. We have to go. Well, they're not starting a thing. He goes, no, but we look really bad by comparison. Let's move further away from them.
Let's give them a peace offering. Come on. Coolest WWE superstars, coolest wrestlers. We're looking for cool people.
Because this leads on, if you someone who skips bits of the podcast, and if you are, why? Ross was talking about the fact that there's many times you watch wrestling nowadays and you go, God, there's some nerds here on these shows. And we miss the good old days when you watch wrestling and go, oh my God, that is a cool dude. That is a cool wrestler there. I like that. I want to be that dude when I grow up. And I'm still waiting for that to happen for me. But hopefully when I eventually grow up, I want to be that cool dude. So who is your cool dude when you think about cool dudes, Ross?
The one that came to my mind straight away when we came up with this fantastic big question was Kevin Nash, who inside of WWE obviously was nicknamed Big Daddy Cool because he was just so cool. And then he's cool in a different sense because you look at him in shoot interviews and he just exudes all kinds of charisma, kid, and all that kind of stuff. And then on the old cameo, he exudes a different kind of cool by proving he's quite a nice fella. And he'll send you a nice cameo message. I saw a couple shared on Reddit not too long ago. So no matter what kind of cool, maybe apart from being cold, because I assume that Kevin Nash is always hot because of the breathing and whatnot. That was a weird tangent to go on. Any kind of cool apart from temperature, Kevin Nash is it.
He's the big one, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the Big Daddy Cool.
That's right. I mean, Ross is going for the Magic Mike XL bloke, so that's fine. Jack, who have you got?
I've got a couple. So The Rock was like the coolest thing ever when you're a kid, because the way he talked and the fact that he was mean to people, which was always cool when you're a kid. Like being mean to like Kevin Kelly and stuff for no reason. And the guy who he made, he's like, take that WCW shirt off right now. Oh, good God, put that shirt back on. And it was just a normal bloke. I was like, oh. He was cool, obviously. But I've also gone for a more modern one. I thought it would be nice to put a modern one in. So I'm going to go for Becky Lynch. She became very cool for a while. After starting off doing an Irish jig and being like, what is this? To being the most naive, like, babyface who would just get taken advantage of by Charlotte all the time. And then suddenly just when it was a heel turn, wasn't it, that actually made her into the man, but everyone loved it. And then she was just like the coolest thing on TV. I remember her promo after something had happened. She might have been away and then came back after a broken nose, maybe. There's that moment. And then she cut a promo on Ronda Rousey on Raw and said like, Ronnie, like the man was always going to come around. And I was like, oh my God, this is like actually, like she's actually really, really good. So that Becky Lynch and The Rock for me.
Damn, I forgot how cool Becky Lynch was.
Yeah, it was.
No, you're exactly right, Jack.
It was a crazy time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She's the hottest thing in all of wrestling.
Yeah. Headlined WrestleMania.
It was awesome, yeah. I wish that Mania had been 2 nights.
She was the girlfriend, of Seth Rollins, and then Seth Rollins was the boyfriend of Becky Lynch.
That ruined it a bit when they rammed that down our throats quite a lot. Yeah. She's saving her boyfriend, Seth Rollins.
Why do they do that? Why do they do that all the time?
It didn't
Hannah
help
things
the cool.
home like that.
Cool
They
people.
hoped her coolness would rub off on Seth.
Yeah, it actually went the other way.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. I think it was a Pictures video where Adam just went off on one going, Seth Rollins isn't cool. Do you remember that? I think you might have been on it, Jack, when it was Seth Rollins. But I think it might have been up at the build up to WrestleMania 35, that sort of time, when Rollins was the all-conquering babyface and whatnot. And Adam was just sat there going, he's not cool.
Adam's like, he's got the sheen of a nerd, but sometimes bits of cool creep out of Adam, though. Have you ever caught him in a mood where he responds to something with big time? You're like, are you going to the pub after? Big time. Yeah.
I've never seen that before in my life.
Well, he never goes to the pub.
So he's big time, Jay. Is that what you're saying?
You'll say something and he'll go like, yeah, big time. Oh, he's in his big time mood, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fair enough. If you've got it, flaunt it, and he's got it. So
What, his hair and that?
just him in general.
Pacitti, yeah, people really like
It's
Pacitti.
Pachiti's world, and we're just living in it.
No, Andrew's coming to take his crown. Everyone loves Andrew.
Oh, I love Andrew as well.
I mean, everyone loves Andrew, obviously.
Andrew's our Hangman Page.
I've never known a new presenter get such little negativity. It is insane how much everyone is. It's great. It's fully deserved because he's a lovely lad and he's good at his job. But it's crazy how unanimous, positive it's been towards him, which is great. It's crazy though. Andrew's cool. I don't know why I've just started talking about this.
Yeah, that's it. It's The Rock, Becky Lynch, and Andrew. So
Gonna go for Richard Tubman for the next one.
oh, of course, obviously, yeah. Coolest guy in Cultaholic.
He
I'll
is,
take our
yes,
word for it. He makes it cool to holic. That's the reason why I'm not on this list. So
Stinking.
I'm going to go with The Rock as well, because never mind what he said on the mic and what everything else that he said to Kevin Kelly and everybody else. Him coming out, the shades, $5,000 shirt, coming out, his music hitting, and doing nothing. He just comes out and then just does that, gets a microphone. Oh, wait. Crowd are chanting Rocky, but I put that microphone down a bit. He'd stand there for 2 minutes, and that's all he needed to do, and he was the best thing. And me and my kid brother, we would chant Rocky at our TV screen, joining the crowd. That's how cool he was.
I've just thought of an amazing new series. I need to watch The Rock's career with Matthew narrating his inner thoughts in that voice. Oh, the crowd is still chanting Rocky. Better put that down again. I need to see a Rock match with you narrating it from his mind.
It's coming to the end of the promo now, but I tilt my head like that so the crowd knows something's good. Something good is going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
What went through The Rock's mind, Matthew, when he first did the la 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 la?
You know what? I need another floor in my house. So I need to sell another few million shirts to get that out. Because I don't want to ruin my credit. Lord Jabroni Marks in the crowd tonight. Better get a new catchphrase over. That's right. You, Al Snow, tonight. You're going to smell. That's right. That's right. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Do you think the first time he did the smell alert, do you think he was a bit nervous? Do you think he thought this might make me look really silly? Might not pay off?
The Rock, if anybody else did what The Rock was doing, it would have been like, oh. It's just the right amount of coolness, the right amount of seamless. As me and Tom are finding out, every week ago, Mick Foley, The Rock doesn't give a insert name of an animal, insert a body part, insert a word, about what you think. And if Seth Rollins said that nowadays, I go, oh, God, who wrote that?
So when Reigns said suffering succotash.
Exactly. The Rock could probably do that. Suffering succotash, jabroni. He could pull it off. He wouldn't, you know. Suffering succotash, you know.
The best example of what we were speaking about earlier, the nerds writing the promos for Roman Reigns. Because now look at Roman. Now look at him.
Yeah.
You're not telling me some little nerd backstage with the pencils putting those words in his mouth. That's straight from the heart. The really cool heart of Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Here, read this. What? Read this, Mr. Roman Reigns. What? Give me that. Hickory dickory dock. Baron Corbin. I'm going to clean your clock. I'm not reading this. I'm not. Oh, come on. I'm paid to do. Nah.
There was a New Day promo where where Big E told a crap joke and then just so underrated. Like, no one really caught it at first, where he just went, blah, 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 blah. I didn't write that. He just said that straight after the punchline.
Yeah.
Big E's cool.
I was going to say he's up there for the cool
He's able...
Cool.
Again, he's got the Rock thing of, he says a lot of dumb stuff, but he says it so well. And he's respected and he's liked. And I think when you get that level of respect and people liking you, you can say a lot of stupid stuff. And he got away with, I mean, he's done like, so we know 5-star matches, could be 2 men slapping beef. And that was, that wasn't even like a promo anyway, it was just him talking with the New Day. And then the thing about Sami Zayn, he's got to build real estate in his butt. And if I did it, people like, Matthew, what are you doing? But Big E doing it, something else.
Yeah. God, that's quite a few. That's quite a few cool cats.
We know cool people.
Yeah, we do.
Carol Baskin?
No, Carol Baskin's not cool. Not at all. Not in the slightest. I think the coolest person on that documentary was the guy, one of his ex-husbands, who was he turned his life around in that. I thought he was all right. Quite a nice man.
One of Joe Exotic's.
Yeah, not wrestling.
One of Carol Baskin's ex-husbands who turned that life around.
I was going to say, yeah, we know what happened to one of them.
Not him. God, how long ago? That was a year ago now, Tiger King.
Yeah. That's when it was like, oh no, stuck inside for a month. Oh, new Netflix documentary. This'll be fine. It'll be over soon. And it's like, oh no. Oh no, I have to stay inside and listen to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast every week, coming into your ears. Ross, what have you got for us on tap this week, pal?
Nout. I am I'm hoping it doesn't get cancelled, but at the time I'm recording a Straight to Hell on Monday. I'm not going to say who it is, just in case they pull out, because that always happens and it's frustrating. So please stay around. But yeah, it'll be a Straight to Hell on the channel, all going well on Tuesday. But apart from that, I've got Nout. I'll be streaming FIFA on Sunday as well on twitch.tv/Cultaholic.
Jack.
Cultaholic FC have been promoted, but next week we have the end of season awards and a few of the last games of the season to wrap up as well. So join in if you want to vote on player of the season, liability of the season. We've got some funny ones as well. And that's on 6 p.m. on Wednesday on Twitch as well. So cool. Matthew.
Lovely. And I will also be streaming 6 p.m. BST. So I used to say EST, that's wrong now. We're BST now, Matthew. Where I will definitely be not logging in as Adam Pacitti as The Last of Us Part 2 or whatever it was that I went in because I didn't change the stream manager details. And I had several hundred people go, that's not Adam Pacitti, that's the other one. Bye. And who can blame you? Yeah, total mess up, complete stupid me. Yeah.
I love that.
It's like, well, there's a lot of people, but oh no. The chat was going crazy. It's like, something's happened. And yeah. But we beat Silent Hill. And that was great. I got the worst possible ending. And people are like, wait, didn't you get the thing from the dude? I'm like, who are you talking about?
Oh, as in
I'm like, no, Matthew, that game you've been playing for weeks. Who? Where? What are you on about?
How many endings?
So it'll be a brand new start to a brand new, hopefully episodic, probably PlayStation 1 game. But I'm going to keep it secret. Because, one, I want you to be able to watch. And two, I want to make sure it works on my PC. So all that to look forward to on Cultaholic. No, sorry, twitch.tv/Cultaholic. But until then, we bid you adieu. You can, of course, go to patreon.com/Cultaholic and place your bets on one of those 3 fantastic picks. And send us whatever's on your mind to mailbag@cultaholic.com. But for now, I've been Matthew, this has been Ross, Jack. You've been amazing. We're going to end the show by putting our hands up to the screen and going the famous expression, 1, 2, 3, join us.
Join us.
Wagga, 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 wagga.